Friends, good evening. August 27th, 2024, Virtual Strangers, episode 221 is on the air. I am your host, Wes, and with me, as always, is my good friend, Ruuts. Ruuts, happy Monday, sir. Or I guess Tuesday for some of us.
Yeah, Tuesday morning. Yeah, it's pretty late or early, depending on where you're at. But happy St. Patrick's Day now. That's actually a ways away. Actually, almost Labor Day. Can you believe it? Actually, if we blink, it will be St. Patrick's Day. But it's crazy that it's almost Labor Day. What happened to summer? That's what I want to know. The hell happened?
Summer's been here for a hot minute, and I do mean a hot minute. It has been ridiculously hot this summer. Like, it's been very hot all summer. Sometimes we have mild ones where you never know if summer's ever going to get here. Then it comes around for a couple of weeks and it leaves. Not this year. This year, summer's been sticking around for quite some time, and makes it tough for a VR gamer. I mean, if you're somebody, especially a PC VR gamer. I was talking to Roy Schwartz about this earlier today. Like, if you're a PC VR gamer, even if you got the AC kicking, like, these NVIDIA graphics cards kick out some real heat. And if you put hours in, it's futile. It doesn't matter what kind of AC you've got going on. It's going to get hot in your room.
Yeah, it definitely offsets, but I got a pretty good AC in this room. But it definitely I remember those days where I remember even saying on this show, like, summertime's here, I don't really do VR, because it was just too hot. Or if you did it early. But yeah, it's definitely hasn't been as hot this summer, of course, where I'm at. I mean, we have our hot moments, but usually, I mean, even in the evening, that's why I love it here. It gets to 60s, late, upper 60s at night, which is nice.
We've been getting some cool temperatures at nights, but the daytimes have been up around 90 degrees for about 3 months. And some of that was in the high 90s,
So the whole forever, for feeling like forever, but will you concede that forever seems like it fucking flew by, man? What happened to summer? Like, that's my thing.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, it's crazy. It's already almost September, and I love the Balloon Festival and Labor Day, but I didn't want it this quickly. So
yeah, it's weird, dude. Is your Balloon Festival coming up?
Yeah, this Saturday or this weekend.
There you go. Ruuts always goes, for those of you who are new to the channel, Ruuts always goes to Denver. I think it's in Denver.
No, it's actually here.
It's in Springs.
Yeah, yeah, and it's pretty big. Now this year I'm also planning, Lord willing, to go to the. There's one in I think October in what's it called? New Mexico. That's supposed to be the big one. I've never been to that one, but
yeah, you're not going that close to the border. I know you.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I'm gonna have a lot more free time pretty soon here, so I'm gonna be doing a lot more different things, and that's why I decided this year was going to be one of those ones I want to drive up there, check it out, and we'll see.
Yeah. Maybe you can open up a game studio and do the first ever hot air balloon simulator.
That'd be cool.
VR.
Yeah.
Surprised somebody hasn't done that yet. Like, maybe they have. I mean, does Microsoft Flight Simulator have balloons in it?
You know what? If the old one doesn't, this new one sounds it has everything. You can get out and go out in the airport, and what would be cool is, like, can my guy go through TSA and shit? If I want a real airport experience, I need to be groped and delayed by about 15 minutes by somebody that really hates their job and their life.
Haptic support.
Yeah, with haptic support on your crotch. So somebody was asking in the chat what I'm drinking. This is good old fashioned apple juice. So
apple juice. Wow.
Yeah, I'm getting fancy. There was literally no water downstairs, so I was like, I'll grab some apple juice.
Welcome everyone back to the show. We did it. We are coming on late tonight. This one, though, a little bit more by design. I mean, we would have been late anyway. But we didn't really make an effort to go on in the afternoon today, given that we went on yesterday. And we talked about it then, that we don't like doing shows that close close together. So even if we could have went on in the mid-afternoon today, we would have been going on late because this is our unofficial Strangers in the Night episode this week.
Yeah, it's kind of flipped, right? Inferno9 says he bought the Jeff Minter story. He's going through it, and it's so awesome. Yeah, it is awesome.
That is cool. Yeah, somebody did I remember seeing this when I was doing some show research recently. I didn't obviously watch it, but there's a lot of good documentary material out there on Mr. Minter and his 40 some odd years in the video game business.
Yeah. Hey, and Wes, people are saying that there's theories that this is whiskey in here and vodka. Anybody that knows me, knows I don't. I just don't. My body doesn't like alcohol. It does. First thing I told Mash and everybody when I met him, and Wes, although Wes only saw me for like 5 seconds, or like an hour and a half, right? But I do other stuff. But alcohol, my body just doesn't like it.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Like I'm good to have like some beers if I'm out in a public place on my feet, talking to people, doing things. If I'm like in an indoors environment, like at a home and sitting around, it just makes me tired, dude. Like it just makes me want to go take a nap every time I drink.
Yeah.
So I feel you there.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome back to the show, ladies and gents. Almost didn't do a regular show today, Roots. Like, I got looking at the news, and while there was some news out there, there wasn't like a ton of headlines that I actually wanted to cover. We got some stuff in the cutting room floor today, but in terms of headlines, there was only just a couple really that I wanted to do. I was looking at flat games today to talk about, maybe like as show topics, just so that we could come on and have a show. So I almost came on and just went back into Lone Echo, like on a stream or something, because due to a lack of a show. Ultimately decided against it because a couple of the headlines that we have are actually really good things that I want to show off and talk about. And besides that, I promised people now for a week that we're going to talk about the In Dreams Vendetta Rising content creator speedrun competition. So we are going to talk about that. I've got my runs lined up here for everyone to check out, and we're going to talk a little bit about some background um, on the competition and some strategies, because they are doing their own competition right now for the public. The demo is open to the public now. They're running another speedrunning competition for everyone. So I'm going to give you the answers. I'm going to give you the keys, what you need to do if you want to challenge to win. I'm going to just lay it all out there for you and put it up to the world. Let's see if you can beat my times.
Yeah. Chris Richardson says Marvel Powers United, the sequel. I added the sequel. Is it coming, Wes? That was actually a pretty good game.
I don't know. This is weird. What did he have something to say about Marvel Powers United?
He literally just said Marvel Powers United. So I'm like, hey, he's got to be saying it for something. So maybe he's got a little inside knowledge or something.
So okay, so there it is. Chris Richardson says they got the original working again.
Oh,
I've been wondering about this because I guess it's been about a month now. I follow Matt BMF on Twitter. I don't know if anyone knows who BMF is.
I do.
I don't know. He's like the other Christian VR content creator out there that openly speaks about God.
Yes,
that's how I know him.
That's why I love him.
Yeah. But he tweeted about, I guess it was about a month ago. He put a cryptic tweet out there that it had some video clip of Marvel Powers United VR, like the tutorial level, the really coolest part of the game, honestly, and left a little cryptic caption on it saying something about I don't remember exactly what it said, but it alluded to a cool announcement or some cool news coming the next day. The next day comes, he puts up another tweet. I know everybody wants to see this. They're interested, but for reasons I can't talk about, there's been a delay in it. And days went on, and I never saw or heard any more about it.
Hmm.
And I do believe I even went to his channel a couple times recently. Never saw a video, unless I just missed it in his feed. Nothing else was ever said about that. So if that game is playable again, I mean, that is a fantastic game from Sanzaru Studio. It's the same studio that brought us both of the Asgard's Wrath games. They're an incredibly talented studio. And while definitely they could have done some things to improve the structure of the game, um, it was still a high quality AAA level Marvel game with pretty much every character that you could ever think of being playable in it. Um, so if that's playable
Hmm.
again, that's pretty good news, and I'd like to know more about it.
Well, Bluebell says Beardo Benjo did a video on it, so it's out there, I guess.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Benjo, I guess whatever kept Matt from doing a video on it didn't stop Beardo Benjo.
No, Beardo's like, I'm doing it. We're doing it live. Yeah, cool. I always thought the game was cool. It's not the deepest gameplay loop, but it's cool, you know.
So they probably did something similar to what happened with Echo Arena, where somebody's got some private servers up for it and got it running again, which is kind of surprising because, to be quite honest, that game did not have the community that Echo Arena had behind it. It's cool, certainly cool. I was a little upset when they shut it down and just took it out of everyone's library because, like that game was good enough that they could have left it up and have you playing versus bots. You know, they didn't necessarily have to close it down when they shut the servers down. They could have left it up as a single player game, and they chose not to do so, which kind of sucks.
It's dated. Let it go. Well, you know, I think it's cool tech. It's a game. I own it. I paid $40, and I'm gonna go back in and play it. So
good call, Philosics. Philosics says, "Rest in peace, Psycho Sid Justice." Yeah, I saw that earlier today. The wrestler known as Sid, everyone knows him as a different type of Sid, be it Psycho Sid or Sid Justice or Sid Vicious, former world champion across all major wrestling promotions, the master and the ruler of the world, has passed on after a lengthy battle with cancer. So condolences to Sid's family out there. One of the all-time great big men in the professional wrestling has departed today. So unfortunate news. Do you remember Sid? Ruuts?
I've heard the name, but I don't. It's not Sid Vicious. I think I heard, but yeah, that's not ringing too many bells for me. But I wasn't, you know,
Yeah.
I kind of phased in and out a little bit of wrestling. I wasn't into it.
Yeah, he's like a 6'11", 350 pounds of muscle, tall guy with blonde curly hair.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
just
was thinking
mean looking.
I was thinking of Hulk until you said curly,
It
blonde,
was.
tall.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I think that it might have been Sid was the first guy to ever kick out of Hogan's patented leg drop.
Really?
You know, Hogan puts the big leg down on everybody to finish the match. That wasn't enough to take Sid out.
Oh my
He
god,
got out.
that's crazy. Yeah, wrestling was good back in the day. They actually took lengths to make the stories good, right? And then now it's kind of
Well, they cared about. They didn't want to do what they call exposing the business. They wanted people to believe that it was real. And while it was pretty obviously fake to anyone with a skeptical eye, there weren't a lot of skeptical eyes back then. So as long as they could keep it up within a reasonable doubt, you know, the people that wanted to believe would. And even the ones that knew it was fixed, was able to watch it and suspend disbelief, right? Like
it's like professional sports now.
Right.
Yeah. Crazy.
But yeah, you can't. I mean, I still watch wrestling from time to time. I don't watch the shows anymore, but I'll watch some segments on YouTube if it's like a wrestler that I like or someone that I remember and really care for. But it's impossible to suspend disbelief. They don't even try to pretend like it's real anymore. That they talk openly on the show about it being fixed. It's just it's
Is it
it's not what it once was.
is it like Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling where they bring out a blowtorch in somebody's face and stuff, and you're like, okay, I know this
Some of
isn't.
them do.
I was like, this is not real, but I don't care. That's what I used to think back in the day. That's good times.
Those guys, they do get hurt, and they do
They're doing
crazy
real
shit.
They're doing real moves, and like this is the thing. Like they're doing real stuff. It's just they pull themselves right before they really do damage. But they do. There's been some real bad injuries. So it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've turned it into this acrobatics thing now, where I mean, some wrestlers work like they're actually fighting, and those wrestlers are believable. But the majority of like modern wrestlers, people that came up in the last generation or two, are just doing these fucking ridiculous acrobatics. While it's a very impressive um, feat of athleticism, and you can appreciate it on that level, it's not believable as a fight, right? Like used to wrestlers when they would do this stuff, it would be wrestlers from Mexico or Japan, and people had a appreciation for it as a cultural thing. But now, like everyone's doing this flippy stuff, and while it's an impressive choreographed acrobatics presentation, gymnastics, it's not a simulated fight, and that's really why I'm not a huge fan of wrestling anymore, but is because of that.
So if you're saying
I,
if Dana
I,
White brings it to UFC, you're out. I'm just kidding.
well,
Can you
here's the
imagine
thing
people doing flips and shit? Like, man.
for professional wrestling to ever really be in this day and age, for it to ever return to what it used to be, it would basically take someone simulating a cage fight, an MMA match, and fixing the results, which is pretty much impossible now because it's against the law. You know what I mean? Like the government wouldn't allow it to
Right.
happen. Um, so yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that is what it is. That they could do it. They could put guys in a ring and have them look like they're actually fighting and putting on real submission holds and choreographing fights, and then having them have like characters and storylines to get people to tune in every week and buy tickets. But unless they were just explicit about it being, um, fixed at the very front of the show with a disclaimer, then the government's going to try to shut them down because of the implications it has for gambling and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Inferno 9 says a wrestling VR game would be cool. And that's why we're talking about this. Wes is... No, just kidding. They're not working on a VR wrestling game, but that would be cool, right?
It'll come. It'll happen one day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're
There's going to be
they're
everything.
working on a bare knuckle boxing
Oh, yeah.
game right now. The Monologic Games is, and they're quite far along with it as far as I know. So if we don't see that game launch this year, it'll be early next year. Pretty convincing bare knuckle boxing game coming out.
Super cool.
Anyway, Roots, you know what's not going to be coming out anytime soon, apparently, is the rumored Meta Quest Pro 2. We've talked about this headset a little bit in recent weeks, as this was the rumored follow-up to the current Quest Pro, and this was rumored to be Meta's answer to Apple Vision Pro. Apple Vision Pro launched to much fanfare this year as being this super high-end device with top-notch displays made out of premium materials with all of the bells and whistles with um, no thought being put into the price point. The thought from Apple was just make it the best it can be, and it costs what it costs. And that was very popular with enthusiasts. for a little while. Now, I don't know how practical it has been in terms of sales and what kind of staying power it's going to have, because as you know, Roots, this technology moves quickly, and before you know it, that super high tech thing is just going to be a normal thing. But apparently, the brains at Meta have realized this, and they've decided that instead of putting out another overpriced high-end headset, that they're just going to hold off on that, because
Mm.
while they'll probably be able to do it for about half the price of what Apple did it, um, that's not cheap enough for them. I think the rumor is, and again, this is all confirmed. This is industry leak type stuff. It's not anything that Meta said publicly. But the what was said here, Roots, was that if they can't hit that $1,000 mark or get close to it, then they don't want to put that product out, because not enough people are going to buy it. And I think that's pretty cool. I mean, obviously, I like to see people pushing the high end too, pushing the possibilities of the tech, but they can do that with prototypes. They don't need to release every headset to the public. And what I think it does is it protects them and us from another situation like the Quest Pro that launched at $1,500, but was basically just a Quest 2 Plus, and is already starting to be outdated in many ways. What did you think about this, Fruits?
I think to me, it tells me that the Apple Vision Pro isn't doing as well as we would have thought or wanted, or they would have wanted, or Meta would have thought. After so much time, they've stepped back a little bit, and they're saying they're not flying off the shelves. And I mean, not saying they're not being used, but Apple's got a really big ecosphere. They got a lot of people in their sphere, right? And they're not flying off the shelf there. So they're not going to fly off the shelves here, even though in our bubble we think they would. They probably wouldn't. They would sell. I would get one. Well, maybe not after last time. But I think it is cool that $1,000 price point is what they would want to get, but I think it's more likely that there's just not demand for it.
Right. Exactly. And a lot of these people that bought the Apple Vision Pro are Apple customers, right? There's nothing that Meta could put out that those people would buy anyway. Um, so yeah, I think it's a smart move on that front. I mean, obviously, they're having to pull back their spending a lot. That nothing has been more obvious than that over the last couple of years, with all of the layoffs that they've had and the studios they've closed. So it makes sense that they're not wanting to chase this kind of high end thing, because let's remember, Roots, that this headset was to follow on the next generation of Quest headset. So this wouldn't be like the next headset that came out. This was going to be something that came out the year after Quest 4 came out. And we're talking about 2 to 3 years from now, when a lot of things may have changed in terms of the
True.
technology, and who knows what they're going to be packing in on that Quest 4. Like, a lot of those features may be available on the consumer model. I think the main thing that they were citing as not being cost effective enough are the micro OLED. Like, they want to do a headset like Apple Vision Pro that uses micro OLED displays, and they don't think within 2 years that it's going to be cheap enough for them to produce it at the price point that they want. So they're just going to hold off on that. And that doesn't mean that we won't see something from them the following year, or another kind of headset from another company. We have to remember Meta is opening up the Quest ecosystem now for other manufacturers, so that someone else can do a micro OLED headset that's high end, and Meta could partner with them to help them get the software out there and all of the next gen stuff that they're trying to do onto a headset that a third party is actually manufacturing and selling. So I think that that's probably most likely what's going on here, is rather than them taking all of that investment and all of that risk, they're going to let a partner do it and just work with
Right.
them, put those features on there, like the Kodak avatars and all of that stuff that people have been waiting for.
Yeah. And things are moving so fast. So who knows? Like maybe they would be trying to behind the 8 ball, trying to catch up, and they focus on something trying to get ahead with varifocal or who
But
knows
that's the
what.
thing. If they want to be the leader, then they have to be the leader, right? They can't follow.
Right.
Like if you're going to be the leader, be the leader, and if not, then just go do something else.
Yeah, I agree.
We've had a couple of tips. First of all, Bluebell $9.99 US says, "I got to hit the hay. Have a great show. I'll be part of the replay crew." Thank you, Bluebell, for stopping in to say hello. Thank you for the support as always. You're awesome. I love you. And we'll see you soon. We also had a tip before we went live, and I made sure to document it so we didn't forget it. And it's a good thing, Roots, because it's not on there anymore.
It's gone. It's forever
So
immortalized in the
let's
Discord.
see what this one says. This one is from That Dank Cheese, who says, "I wanted to give something back. I've been watching the channel for over a year now, and I look forward to each show. You guys are great. Thanks for all the content." Well, thank you, That Dank Cheese, for the kind words, and thank you for the $10 and happy 1 year anniversary. That shows you how quick time's going, Roots. That Dank Cheese already been here a year.
That's crazy. I look at every name here and I'm like, everybody's been here forever, as far as I'm concerned. That's how I feel. It's like, yeah, sure, you see names that have been there from day one, but it is a family, right? So it's good. I like it. And
Yeah,
and when you put it
certainly
in there,
family.
you said, you posted in our chat in the Discord so that we don't lose it, so we don't forget. And I was thinking, this is so I can read that comment and go back, and so I don't lose my motivation for why I do the show, right? Or why we do the show, right? Is like, even if there's just one person that's looking forward to the show, it's good. It's a motivation. It's like, okay, yeah, I see it now. Okay, let's do it.
And let me say this, Roots. Like, if anytime you need that motivation, just go read the comments on the episodes, dude. Like, people always leave a number of awesome comments that they're talking about. Like, I know when we do a good show because people tell me that we did a good show. Um, while we're
That's
on the
good.
subject, a lot of people last week left a lot of nice comments about Flat to VR. We covered Flat to VR Studios last week, and a lot of people let us know what they thought of our reveal and our launch lineup. And there was a lot of awesome comments. And just so you all know, I took each and every one of them, I clipped them, and I put them on the message board over there in our private channel so that everyone can see them. And everybody's quite flattered and happy with the response, not only from our community, but from the entire VR community and beyond.
Yeah. Well, and I don't see responses like that for most games. So, you know what I mean? Like, this is the thing. If they're good, they're good. And people are going to really enjoy it and be like, oh my God, this is amazing. So you guys are banging it. You guys are doing a good job over there. And that's why there's such a good response. And because you guys are awesome.
Yep, they are. They are killing it. Absolutely. Inferno 9, $4.99 US. You guys rock. Thank you for doing such a great show. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here for it. That's the reason why we do it. Zelda in
Oh my
VR,
God.
$10 US.
First ever super chat.
Ever super chat on YouTube. Always here, not saying a GD word. Love your show. Thanks for all that you do for the VR community. Thank you, Zelda. That's extremely awesome of you. And welcome. It's good to know you're here. Did you know Zelda was here, Roots?
I did not, but I'll tell you what, it is good. And I was trying to, I got fixated. It said, let's celebrate their first super on a live stream. And I thought, okay, let's do it. I clicked on it. And well, how do I celebrate it, Wes? I guess, yeah, I guess it's a verbal thing. I thought maybe I could like click something and some fireworks would come out. How cool would that be?
I can heart it. What do I do? I can heart it. and then I can, let's see, let's do this. Let me know if you see this.
I do. I see the heart. Yeah, I do. I see things going up.
Yeah, there we go. I can
Yeah.
make these little icons and
Yeah, so I was doing some hearts as well. A couple.
yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah, I see the little virtual strangers heart on there. That's like the best one. It's like seal of approval.
yeah, that's right. Anyway, thank you everyone. Thank you Zelda. Thank you Inferno 9. Thank Cheese.
Bluebell.
Thank you Bluebell. Thanks everyone. We appreciate the support and the kind words. It's awesome. Um, Roots, while Meta might not be coming out with their micro OLED headset, I do think that there's some cause for renewed optimism from the part of Valve, and that they might actually soon deliver the long awaited, long rumored, legendary Deckard that that our friend Brad has been talking about now for most of the time that we've known him. I was scrolling Twitter, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and Brad had a tweet that just said, Deckard is real. And that's all I could see from the notification on my phone. I couldn't see the tweet, just the caption. So I clicked into it, and there was a link to this video from Tyler McVicker. And you might remember Tyler McVicker because when we first met Brad and when I first introduced him to our community, I introduced him as the Tyler McVicker of hardware. So what Tyler McVicker does is he searches through and data mines all of the Valve software to try to find signs that indicate what kind of games that they're working on for the future. It was Tyler McVicker that accurately predicted years ahead of time Half-Life Alyx before anyone even thought that Valve would be working on a Half-Life game for VR. Tyler McVicker was out there talking about it. So that, again, this is exactly what Brad does. He data mines. He has people that he knows that data mines. They go through all of the Steam VR updates, looking for code that would indicate any future hardware that they might be working on. And it's from these data mines primarily that the theory of the Valve Deckard has arisen. Anyway, during this video here from McVicker, he specifically mentions the Deckard in this video. Apparently, he started data mining. He found evidence for a couple of new games from Valve. Um, and he went to ask some sources. He has internal sources that he can go to kind of get the inside scoop on what's going on. Apparently, when he went to his inside sources um, to find out what these games were, and one of them is obviously a Half-Life game. Let me start by saying that they're working on a Half-Life game. They've been working on it for about 4 years at this point, and we know that. He knows that just from data mining. But there's another game that's not so clear what it is. He pumps his sources for some more info. The source, I guess, confirms to him that the Deckard is still a very real project and something that they're intending to launch. And I guess the implication from that is that this other game that Valve is working on is likely going to be software to support the Deckard. So, hence our friend Brad's words that the Deckard is real. I think this is some pretty compelling information for those of us who are holding out hope that this next level hybrid headset from Valve will actually become a product in our lifetime sometime.
I just saw a live Mash Daddy Cool, and he'll always be Mash to me.
What's
Says,
up, Eric?
well, what do we have going on here? What's going on, Mash?
I'm sorry, Mash. I'm sorry. I'll get back to work. I'll get back to work. I'll get back to work.
All of a sudden, Wes disappears. I'm just only sitting here. I'm like, oh God. So I'll tell you what, Spry says, don't get me excited about the Deckard again. And apparently we we should get excited about it. I am, as long as the specs are right. I mean, I'm not running out to buy a Valve headset because it's named Deckard, and, but I mean, and it's Valve, but I think it's, if everything that Brad has said about it in the past will be true, then I think it'll be amazing, and I will want to get it.
So
Now the question is,
I think it's.
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just gonna say the question is it going to be the forever away? I mean, we've never had a 3 for any of their games. Everybody wants Half-Life, or not Half-Life. Yeah, Half-Life 3. Are we going to get that? Are we getting a sequel to Alex?
So this is the interesting part of what McVicker said. Because obviously the Half-Life 3, as we know it, is pretty much confirmed to be a flat game. It's not going to be a VR game. So there's that, and that could be disappointing to a lot of people. But McVicker talked about a very prominent rumor that has been going on for well over a year at this point, that Valve is actually working on not only a sequel to the mainline Half-Life series, but a sequel to Half-Life Alyx as well. And what he said that the catch was that makes these games so interesting is that while they are standalone titles on their own, the concept is that they're telling the same story from different perspectives, and that there's actually parts of the game that kind of work together. So like if you could somehow have like asynchronous multiplayer in 2 single player games, like your copy of Alyx could be doing something that like your copy of Alyx, well, I guess it would be my copy of Alyx would be doing something that directly affects your playthrough of the Half-Life 3 on your flat screen, and vice versa. So it's almost like a co-op, um, with one player playing flat and the other playing VR, but it isn't necessary for the two to be playing together to play through the campaign. Um, that's the kind of the rumor here and the speculation. That sounds very ambitious.
I don't even know how you
But
do
it
that.
sounds cool. It
Yeah.
sounds cool. And if someone described that sort of game to me and said, who's developing that? I would probably say Valve, right? Valve would be the only one that would have the balls to even try something like that.
Old Darth
So yeah,
says,
I mean,
oh, go ahead.
okay, you're going.
I was gonna say, Old Darth that says, imagine if the Deckard has no display port. I was like, you take that back. You better take that back, sir. But yeah.
Well, I mean, DisplayPort isn't technically necessary if you do a high bandwidth wireless interface.
True.
Like the only reason why the only reason why there's compression for the method that these today's wireless headsets use is because they're going over standard Wi-Fi, and the bandwidth isn't high enough to support a lossless signal. But the technology is absolutely out there to do a high bandwidth wireless transmission. Um, so it could be something that they're doing. Brad has put forth the idea that these headsets could be more modular. So if you want like a wired version, you can get a wired version. If you want to buy a wireless setup for it, you can convert it, or maybe there would be a wireless version that you can get. I'm not wholeheartedly against the idea of a wireless headset. Um, I expect that it's pretty likely that the next one not only is going to be wireless, but it's going to be a standalone. I just expect it to be like the Steam Deck of VR headsets, that it does stand alone, it does tethered, and the standalone that it does isn't like some watered down mobile version of standalone, but rather a wireless standalone headset that has the Steam store on it, running Steam games, the same games you would run on your PC. That's what I would think that the next Valve headset will be.
Yeah. What do you think? So they got a flat game coming out. It is a flat game. You think that says anything about their commitment to VR games, or just that maybe that's just not.
Not at all. Not at all. I think that they're probably one of these companies that believe in the idea that if you're making a VR game, then it should be a VR game, and if you're making a flat game, it should be a flat game. And and I think that the main line Half-Life 3, there's no way that they in hell that they would just make that a VR game and not
They'd have to
flat.
do it. They'd
People
have
would
to do it double. Yeah, does that would be fucking over the entire base of Half-Life. Anybody that's
well,
ever played their entire life.
yeah, they'd burn it down. They would fucking burn Valve down to the ground if they did that. Like a lot of us would enjoy it. Some people would buy in and buy headsets to play it, but the vast majority are going to curse them for that, and and they'll lose their very loyal fan base or a significant portion of it. But you know what, Roots? Whether those two games talk to one another and play off of one another like that, or not, um, I kind of like the idea of telling the same story from two perspectives,
Right.
right? Like I think that's a cool way to do it. Like, so neither fan base gets left behind. Everyone gets to come along for the ride in the next chapter. Um, but again, you get two distinct stories. It would it would be compelling enough to make VR players want to play the flat version and to make the flat players want to play the VR version just to get that full understanding of the story and what's happening on these two separate fronts as you work your way toward the G-Man at the end.
Yeah. You know who loves to get to the G-Man at the end, Wes?
Yeah, she does.
Looper says, "Oh, so they make a successor to one of the best VR games, flat screen only. Who would do that?" Well, Val. I guess it's not a
No, I'm not.
successor. It's not
That's not
Alex.
what I'm saying. I'm saying they're making a successor to Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2. Half-Life 3 would be a flat just like the games before it. As we all know, Half-Life Alex was kind of a prequel to the events in Half-Life 2 Episode 2, I think, or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So while technically, yes, this would be the successor to Half-Life Alex, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that um, that they would do both. They would do a Half-Life 3 for flat gamers. They would do a Half-Life Alex Part 2 for VR gamers, and that both of those titles would coincide at the same point in the story or be at very close proximity in the story and overlap in some way. But if they're only doing one, it's a flat game, confirmed. Get over it now. That's just how it's going to be. And we can wait 15 years for someone to mod it into VR like they did Half-Life 2.
Yeah, I don't think it'll take that long.
Probably not. Oh, Looper said it was a joke.
Oh,
My
well,
bad.
god dang, no jokes, damn it. No, just kidding. Got some serious topics here. Everyone's all heated. They're thinking this is serious.
Anyway, I think it's cool. It's always cool to hear stuff that's coming from other sources other than Brad.
Right.
Not that Brad's sources are illegitimate. They certainly aren't.
No,
But it's good
clearly.
to have this kind of validation because, again, Tyler McVicker, even though he was called crazy for years, he turned out to be right in the end. So
when is this coming? Do we know? Like Christmas?
not this year.
Okay.
Not this year.
Not this year.
He was saying that this Half-Life 3, while it is getting further along in the development cycle, it's not to the point yet of getting ready for a launch. They're far in. I mean, they're 4 years in on it,
Right.
and everyone's happy and enthusiastic and really pushing on it. But it's not a this year, within 6 months type of thing. It's not that imminent. So next year, maybe the year after, is when we're looking at these things dropping.
That'd be cool if it was like just yet another like section off like a prequel to the prequel of Alex or something, Half-Life Alex 1.5 or something. So, it's because it's so convoluted. It's so weird the way that this is all rolling out. It's very interesting, but I think that would be a mind fuck. Or even just Half-Life Alex 2. Let's make it flat. And that would really, people would be like, what the hell's going on? I never saw it. One, and would push them into VR maybe. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think it's all very exciting. Those Half-Life games are some of the best games ever. And of course, everyone loves new VR hardware, especially when it comes from Valve. So, all very exciting to talk about. Of course, we will keep you abreast as more unfolds over time. Anyway, we need to say hi to our friends in chat and get this damn show going, Roots. It's already an hour in. We haven't even started the headlines yet. So we have Marcio, the Underground Game Cat, is here. Says hopefully Half-Life 3 keeps going with Freeman and the episodes stay with Alex. That was the theory in the video. Is that the flat game you would be playing as Freeman, and in the VR game it would be Alex. That was kind of the working theory. Old Darth is here. The Funk Hunter is here. Eric says that Flat to VR Studios is ready to do the VR version now.
Let's go,
There
Valve.
you go.
Let's do it.
I like it. Looper the Underground Game Cat. Oh, he was making an Astrobot joke. That's what he was doing.
Oh,
I get it.
That's too soon,
I
Looper.
get it now.
It's too soon. That doesn't come out for about, a couple weeks, right? I can't wait. I got excited. I saw something about it.
What game are you talking about?
I was all excited. I saw something about Astrobot, and I was getting ready to, oh, God, is it out? And then I was like, oh, shit, I got to wait a couple weeks? That's bullshit.
I got to wait a couple years. Game Cat Behemoth is here. Old Darth is here. Flippy Nuggets is as well. VR MC, VR SpryGuy. He says the team at Valve got excited about making Half-Life 3 after doing Alex. Yes, that is correct. That is the theory here, that everyone was so excited coming off of Alex that they went straight into development on Half-Life 3. Who else is here? Mepper's here. You're Around Next is here. Philozix here as well. Hussein X, Inferno 9. I think we said hi to Darth. Hello, Darth.
Bambino Ramos says, fuck Astrobot. Looper was just asking me if I pre-ordered it yet. I did not. But
I'm with Bambino Ramos here. Zelda in VR, we already said hello to. Good to know you're here. Macho, the real estate procrastinating game cat is here. What's up? Good to see you. Ghost Shot is here. VR MC is here. Magnum Gaming is here. Hussein X. Gabriel 004. Bluebell was here earlier, as was Chinatown D. Skiva's here. I didn't even see Skiva.
He slipped in real quick and left.
Yeah, it seems that way. Techno Glitch is here as well. Who else? Scrolling. Jay, the foveated render game cat is here as well. This is what happens when you have two intro topics, Roots. You have to scroll forever.
Well, like you said, we talked for an hour, and then that's a lot of chatting. A lot of people coming in and out. I'll talk.
You know who loves it when a lot of people come in and out, Roots?
My mom! She does. Tell her it's not safe.
Chris Richardson was here.
I think he's still out there. I love Chris.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Salvador was here as well. Robbie Y says it's whiskey, don't lie, Roots.
I wish. Actually, no, I don't. That would be so horrible. Whiskey's so strong. Ugh.
Doomsly 82 in the house.
I might even, depending on the next trailer, I'm probably gonna get more apple juice, man. Run down there.
Zeke is here as well. Top Dog in the house. Alihimbe D, 2-year Underground Stranger Game Cat says, "Man, that is one cool intro, isn't it? Though
It is. It's ready for a new one, though. Not that that one's not amazing, but we just keep talking about a new one. We just got to find Wes some time. Because Wes, you don't have time, I don't think, to be working on intros, do you?
That one's not that old. I mean, we did PSVR 2 launch
That's
titles
true.
predominantly on that, so it's about a year old. But you're right. We're getting close to the time where we need to start thinking about a channel refresh.
It's just easy for me to say. Wes does the work. And I'm like, yeah, we need to do a new one. And
That's probably a early next year thing. We'll probably do a channel refresh early next year. Let's see. Hussein X is here. We already said hi to Marcio. GameCat Behemoth is here. Dan Bingham is here. And that is as far to the north as I can go. I remember Radio Runt was here. He may still be here. Who else? Anybody slip in? People like Samus has slipped in. Toast Interactive. Hey, what's up?
he said he
good to see
said
you.
Alex is phenomenal. Played through the full game on Index. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's quite good. Glad to see you're here, Toast. I'm glad it's that you're down under in Australia, because spoiler alert, your title is the last thing on the agenda and headline. So we got a little while before we get there, but good to see you in chat. Thank you for joining us. Quadzilla slipping in as well. Who else? Anybody else slip in? Looks like we just had a new donation from Macho, the real estate procrastinating game cat. Gives us the devil horns for being the ear and pulse of the VR streets, helping Flat to VR be great, and to the both of us for being such an integral part in the industry and in our journeys. Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Very awesome words. Thank you very much. All right, cool. Yeah, so it's 3:00 in Australia, so they've got time. It's like they're about to get off work, Roots, and hear what we have to say about
Dude,
Max Master.
yeah, I haven't even started my day yet. That's Future Roots' problem.
Yeah, indeed. Anyway, on that note, thank you, everyone. If I missed you, I apologize. Thanks for hanging out, staying up late, getting up early, checking us out as you're getting off work, whatever the situation may be. Roots, let's get into some headlines. That's right, folks. It's time once again to talk a little bit more about Vendetta Forever, the upcoming puzzle shooter from Meat Space Interactive and our friends at In Dreams. We've talked about this on our last couple of episodes, as this is a recently announced title with a playable demo up on the MetaQuest store currently for everyone to check out. Same demo that us content creators have been playing for a few weeks now. So we gave our impressions on the game last week, so I'm not going to recap all of that. But as I mentioned on Saturday's show, what we weren't able to talk about last week was a content creator competition that was being put on by the folks at In Dreams. When they sent us access to this demo, they told us that they wanted us to speed run 3 specific levels, Neon Vengeance, Gunship, and Slums. And the idea was that the fastest time on each level would win a prize, and then the overall winner from all of the levels combined would also be a winner. So what would we win? Um, we would win. Uh, we will get our channel logo graffitied into that specific level for the launch version of the game. So if you're the winner on Gunship, you'll have your logo put in Gunship. If you're the winner on Slums, you'll have your logo put in Slums, and so on. It says that you can work with us on the design for added flair. So they're not just going to copy paste it in there. They're saying that I'm going to be able to work with them to kind of have some control over what it looks like. It says that in-game achievements will be named after the winners. And then, of course, this is the thing you all should be excited about. Game codes of the final launch version to be used as giveaways. So 4 winners, 3 levels, 4 winners. Those are the prizes at stake for each one of the winners. As you know, Roots, I don't often participate in these type of competitions. I've only ever done one before, and that was the Zombieland Headshot Fever Quest for the Best tournament. And I didn't really even take it all that seriously at the time. I didn't know who the other contestants were. I knew who some of them were. So basically, it was structured very similarly to this, where it was a speedrunning competition. But unlike this one, that game had in-game leaderboards to track speedrunning. This game has leaderboards too, but it's not specifically for speedrunning. So you never really could see how you were doing versus the rest of the world for this competition. But I digress. Um, when I did the one for Zombieland, I basically put about an hour into each level. I kept practicing until I put my name higher on the leaderboard list than any of the content creators that I recognized. I thought when I did that, that I very well could be the winner. If not the winner, that I'm going to place among the top people, which was true. I was in the top 5. I think I might have been the 3rd place or the 4th. Anyway, the people that beat me out were content creators that I'd never heard of. And the one, I think the one at all, was this guy named Game On Scorpio. And I mean, he didn't beat me by much. It was just a matter of fractions of a second, back then for that game. Maybe some of the levels, a couple of seconds. It was a very short amount of time. Yeah, it was one that I knew I could have won had I been aware that there were people in front of me and put a little bit more time into it. I know I could have won that. But I didn't. This guy won, and good on him, but it always kind of left a sour taste in my mouth that I didn't achieve my best in that. And I didn't show myself in our channel. I didn't represent as well as I could have. So when I'm considering doing this Vendetta Forever, they tell everybody up front, I'm in the In Dreams content creator program. I know who else is in there. I happen to know that Scorpio is one of the people in the In Dreams creator program.
What? Oh, your
Right.
nemesis, dude. He was there.
He was there. And very early on, of course, this guy's posting high scores in the message board. And he would post one up, and then Clickster VR would come behind and beat his times. And then it wouldn't last very long, and Scorpio would come right back with better times. Again, these guys going at it. And in the meantime, I'm in the background. I haven't even started playing yet. I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to do this. So I spent about 3 days, a couple hours a day practicing on this. Not days in a row, mind you. This game is a very active game. Um, and I had to recover in between this, Ruuts. Playing this game for a couple of hours and really putting effort forth into speedrunning. It took a physical toll that I'm only really just now starting to get over. And I think you can testify to that a bit, right?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, even just from at least my legs, I didn't even play it. I wasn't even trying to do a competition. I was just playing it, and I was like, "Holy shit, what happened? Why are my legs so sore?" So I can only imagine. And you said your hands or your knuckles were swollen, or your hand.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think I've got arthritis or something, Ruuts, because my feet swell up a lot now. They have been for probably 3 or 4 months. And now my knuckles are swelling. I didn't do anything especially taxing with my hand. It's just from trigger pulls. That's it.
mm,
My two middle knuckles swell up. They're still a little bit swollen today, even.
that's crazy. Yeah, no, this
Getting
is
old, man. Too old for this stuff.
well, I'm going to put out there that it's going to get better and go away. I refuse. I rebuke it in Jesus' name. Yeah, no, I think that this competition, obviously, it seems like you took it seriously. I'm curious to see how it all turned out.
Yeah, I did. I made an effort. I wanted to be sure that I at least tried and see if I could place. And granted, not very many of the content creator team um put forth an effort in it. Some people played early on, but it was really just 3 or 4 of us at the end that were really trying to top one another, and I wasn't doing it publicly. Like those guys, I mean, they probably knew I was playing because I was commenting, but I wasn't sharing my scores. I wasn't showing my times. And that's the interesting thing about this game, Ruuts, is it's not just about the physical performance of it. Like, yes, you need to have your movements down. You need to have your, a good aim. That's part of it. But you have to be able to be a sharpshooter getting through it. But there's strategy to it, and that's where really the game sets itself apart. No matter if you're going for points or if you're going for a speed run, how well you do in competition is going to have everything to do with the strategy that you put together. So that's what we're going to look at today. I'm going to show my runs here, and we're going to discuss a little bit about the strategy involved. And you at home might find this interesting because In Dreams is now running the very same competition for the general public.
They can take your
Now,
tricks and win. You guys better listen right here.
exactly. Anyone who's interested in doing this, you have much longer, by the way, than they gave us to beat these scores. Now through September 9th, I want to say, the person who gets the fastest time, I think it's Neon Vengeance, the level that they're running for the public. Verify that to be sure, but I think it's Neon Vengeance is the level that you're supposed to be running. And the winner, the fastest time out of the general public, will also get their name in the final version of the game, which is a pretty cool thing. Um, so let's talk a little bit about it then. Let's talk about the strategies I used, and then we'll talk about where I placed. Well, I'm not going to keep anyone in suspense about where I placed. I won. I won it all. I had the top score for each level. I had the top score combined. It makes me wonder, Ruuts, are they going to give me all of the prizes? Like, are they going to put my name in every level?
They
Am I going to
better.
get a number of achievements named for me or our channel? Are are they going to give us just a shit ton of keys to give away?
This
Because I won all 4 competitions.
this is the Virtual Strangers competition. It was just yours to win, and I think they should give you every single thing. Everything should be named after Wes, and I mean, you crushed it, dude. And yes, I remember you talking to you before when you were still practicing, and you were telling me the same thing about this Nemesis, and I was like, I literally thinking, oh, this dude doesn't even know what's coming. Wes is fucking coming for him, and it's over. And it was over. It was over when you were telling me about it, and you hadn't even really done it yet. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's funny. I say that it was just one of the things in the back of my mind. I'm not like driven with hatred for Scorpio. He's a great dude, actually. He's a cool guy. But what they give us as prizes is totally up to them. It was fun to participate and showcase our channel and this game. It was fun. It would be cool if they would announce the winner. Like, they still haven't announced, like, on their socials or even in the, like, internal channel that I won. Like, they haven't acknowledged it. I think they're waiting on this video, like,
Okay.
waiting for me to show my runs. They might not believe that I actually achieved the times that I achieved.
Yeah.
So maybe tomorrow they'll announce that I won, and we can kinda talk about, whether or not I get my name in all of these levels and whether or not we're going to get a bunch of keys to give away on the 2024 show. We'll see.
I think it's unprecedented. They weren't they were literally the fact that you said they haven't announced the winner. They weren't thinking that. They were going to announce winners, Wes. Not winners. They thought, okay, there's multiple people here. So
we're all winners. Ruuts.
Well, it's true. That is true in life. And I forgot that I can't remember who it was that asked. This is Kirkland's apple juice. Kroger's finest. So
there we go. Yeah. So anyways, that's enough of me jabbing Scorpio and pumping myself up. It's all tongue in cheek, guys. I'm not really this fucking stuck up and narcissistic. I just like to fuck with people, and anybody who knows me knows what I'm doing right now. Anyways, let's talk about these levels and specifically about the strategy involved with getting these scores. So I did watch the other contestants' videos and see what kind of strategies they were using, and unsurprisingly, they were actually using similar strategy to what I used in these games. The only difference being is that they didn't really take it as far as they could have, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. The number one strategy that I mean, when you're talking about shaving off fractions of a second to get an advantage, every little thing that you can do to save time matters. Any little thing that if you can skip one guy that you don't have to kill, then that's going to be a half a second that's not going to be on your time at the end. So when you initially get into these levels, you have dudes that you can see, the first guys that you're supposed to kill. And there's no locomotion in the game. There's no turning. Well, I mean, I guess there is turning. You don't use the turning because it's too slow. All of your movements are in real life. So the number one strategy that I can give anyone that's trying to speed run this game is use your play space. If you just sit still and try to run through their course, you're going to have to go through extra guys. If you move around a little bit, especially before you start your run, just examine the space a little bit before you shoot the first shot. You'll typically you'll be able to skip over guys by taking an angle on the second guy or the third guy. So that's what I've noticed here with these first couple of runs, Ruuts, is where the other guys were taking a side step to skip the first guy and going for the second guy. I'm taking 2 side steps to skip the first guy and the second guy, and I'm going for the third guy to start off with. And I think that being able to move around is important, not only for situations like this, but as you get closer and closer to the end of the levels, the gunfire starts coming in a lot more hot and heavy, and it helps to move around just to dodge all that stuff. But that's the first pro strat for you, is move around in your play space even before you start the run. So let's take a look here at the first level. This level is called Neon Vengeance. I think this is the level they've got everybody running, but you'll notice at the beginning a couple of guys. And if you play this as a stationary shooter, you'll have to run through these two guys to get started. But watch what I do and how I get around doing that. Don't blink, by the way. This is very fast. Oh, did you already go to it, Roots? I thought we were cutting away.
No, yeah, no. I said when you said to go to Neon Vengeance, I did.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to cut away. Let's watch it again. That's very quick. We'll watch it one more time after this because again, it goes so quickly. But you'll notice in the first frame that there's two guys that are visible when you spawn into the level. But if you sidestep to the side, around the corner, there's a third guy. You start the level off by throwing a pencil. Notice I throw it into the next room, into the third guy to get started, and skip through a whole room to get a leg up. And again, it's all about knowing where the guys are at and not missing. So we'll play through it one more time here, Roots, just to let everyone kind of see what I had to go through. I know it's super fast. I probably should have slowed it down, but
That's crazy. It's going by so fast, right? You're skipping all sorts of people.
yeah. Most of the people I don't kill. It's all about shooting the guy that's farthest away to you and doing it quickly enough that you don't get shot. These guys will kill you in a half a second, Roots. They'll kill you in a half a second. So you can't stop. Like if the game gives you like a little buffer period before they start shooting at you, you have to be gone before they recognize you. Or they're going to blast you in the face with a shotgun. So yeah, that's basically the main strategy point here is moving around in your play space, skipping the people that you can, and especially moving around before the run starts. Something else you can do, ladies and gents, before the run starts is you're going to be replaying and replaying and replaying these levels, and it'll get to the point to where if you make a mistake, you're just going to stop mid-run and start over again. There's no need to go forward if you know you've already made a mistake and you're not going to beat your best time. A lot of your success in the game depends on the guns that you get. The guns generate randomly. So a lot of the success generates on or depends on you getting the right gun. Something you can do if you need a specific gun or you'd like a specific gun for your run is the first enemies that you see, the first 1, 2, 3 enemies will have the you'll be able to see what kind of guns they're holding, so you can know what you're going to have. So if you start the level, you look at the guns the guys have. If they're not holding the gun that you want, just hit restart again right there, and it'll refresh the guns in their hands, and you just keep hitting refresh until they've got the gun that you want. Be sure to the guy that has your gun, kill them first, put that gun in your offhand, and carry it to the part of the level that you need it in. And then you'll have it, and you'll save yourself probably 10 to 15 runs just waiting on that to happen by chance. So you'll save all that time and all of that repetition. So there's another pro strat for you all.
Chris Richardson, which I answered him in chat, says he wanted to know what pulls you to the next room, which for anybody that may be listening, it's the gun. Anytime you grab a gun, it teleports you. it's a really good mechanic, and that's why I think this game is so good. Is it just flows so fast and so quick, and it's just it feels good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's right, Chris. You kill the guy, their gun flies in the air, whatever they're holding, and then you force grab the gun, and instead of the gun coming to you, when you force grab it, it pulls you to the gun. So that's how you move through the levels. You kill a guy, you grab their gun, it pulls you to where they were at, and then you move on. Roots, but before we end the segment, I am going to want to run these videos with sound on it, just the video for documentary purposes, so everyone can in dreams and all of my competitors can see that these are legit videos and that I'm not cheating and that I actually did this. Is that going to
Yeah.
be a lot of trouble for you to do?
No, I can do it. Hold on. So let
Okay.
me.
So well, I mean, all right.
I might as well
So
just
do
go
what
back
you
to
need
that
do.
one. Yeah, let's go back to that one.
Yeah.
And we'll start it at the beginning here. Let me pause it.
It's good anyway because Salvador blinked.
Yeah, don't blink. And let me make sure it's not going to blare everybody.
Thank you, Roots. I didn't hear it, but I assume there was sound on for that one.
Yeah. Let us know if you didn't hear the sound, but I saw it, so it should have worked. But again, it is OBS, and OBS sometimes is very bizarre.
Okay, so if you would go ahead and put us into gunship and pause before we start out. You can do that, right?
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So you're going to see here again something that we talked about from the last level, and that is moving around in your play space to pick the right first enemy. So when you start off in gunship, you're in a room. You can see out the door. There's a guy. There's one guy in front of you that's just blatantly obvious that that's supposed to be the first guy. If you lean ever so slightly to your right, you'll see a second guy in the room that you can attack that's closer, further down the path than the first guy was. So most people, what they did was they picked that guy to shoot first, which is what I did for probably the first half of my runs or more. Then it dawned on me that there's a third guy in that room. And while that guy is not any closer or further down the path than the second guy that you see is, there is a big difference. And that is the second guy has armor on. It takes 3 shots to kill that guy.
Oh shit.
But the third guy has no armor. 1 shot to the face kills him. So instead of taking a step to the right to kill the second guy with 3 shots to start the run, I take 3, maybe 4 steps to the right so I can see the third guy, and 1 shot to the dome, and I'm off. It just so happens that this level, it's not just about getting through this level. You have a boss in this level. There's a helicopter flying that you have to shoot down out of the air. Most people have to play through to the end of the level and get this rocket launcher to kill it. The helicopter takes a lot of shots, but if you can get mid-level with the right guns, you can actually kill the boss halfway through the level, which is what we're doing here. Naturally in the run, you get a machine gun halfway through the level. That machine gun's not enough on its own to take out that boss. But if you can get to midway through the level with that machine gun in your right hand and a submachine gun in your left hand, now you've got 120 rounds you can pump into that thing, and you will kill it if you hit it with most of those. So not only did I sidestep here twice to get that third guy. I made sure in the last, I don't know, probably 20 or 30 attempts, I made sure that that guy had a submachine gun, and I put it straight into my left hand to start the match, or my right hand, whichever one was my offhand when I was playing. And I just held that weapon there and played through the rest of the first half of the level with the gun in my right hand. And that way I was consistently setting myself up to kill the boss mid-level on every attempt by the end. It took me a while to get to that. Like at first I didn't even know that you could kill it halfway through. In fact, I would have never even figured out that you could kill the boss halfway through if it weren't for Scorpio posting his scoreboard and letting me see where he was at in the level when he did it. When I saw that, then I knew that you could kill that thing without the rocket launcher, and that's when I started playing around and thinking outside the box in terms of strategy.
Sometimes you got to keep your hand close to your chest. Whilst you're not supposed to show everybody what you're doing, Scorpio. Yeah.
Nah, you keep doing it just like that, bro. You did good.
That's right.
You.
Yeah, you did good.
Thanks for sharing.
You know what I was thinking is you swept the competition, and you're kind of almost guaranteeing somebody from this community is going to sweep the rest. And we're just going to take it all. It's going to be virtual strangers across the board.
Old Darth wants to know how many runs did I average on the levels before I hit my best times. I consistently beat my best times until the end, and the end being the day before the deadline to submit. And what I would do is that was the only day that I played all 3 levels on the same day. I already had good enough times. I would have won if I stopped after my second day of playing. I would have won 2 out of the 3 competitions anyway, but playing on the third day is what really put me over the top on all 3. And what I did on that day is I played until I beat all of my best times that day. Took me probably an hour to 90 minutes to beat all of my times. And then each time I would beat and have a new top score, I would keep going till I either got a new high score or I failed 15 times. So if I go 15 times in a row and I don't get a new score, then we're sticking with that one. And for some of these levels, I got multiple new high scores. And then for one of, I think maybe the first level we already watched, I only beat it once, which is a good thing I did. If I had not gone back in that last day, I would not have won the Neon Vengeance. Clickster VR would have won that because he got a really good score as well. Anyway, so why don't we kind of watch the level here again? Pay attention to. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I've got the audio on for this one too. I'll just have it on there for once.
So yeah, again, just pay attention to the fact that I'm walking over to a different spot to start the run, and notice that the first guy that I kill gives me exactly the gun that I need to kill the boss. And then when we get to the boss, you'll notice something else too, that I move to the very edge of the helicopter that I'm riding in, so that after my helicopter gets shot down, I can still continue to pump rounds into that thing. That's something else I noticed that the other guys didn't do, is after their helicopter got shut down, they waited till they got on the ground to finish off the boss. I didn't do that. I basically stuck my head out of the helicopter and kept firing up at the thing until I just couldn't see it anymore, and ended up killing it before my helicopter even hit the ground.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is Gunship, ladies and gentlemen. but now you get to. So like, I won by a fair margin on this level, by a few seconds actually. I had a point to that. I forgot what it was. I think it was because of that. It was because I had stuck my head out and was still firing at the thing while the helicopter was going down. Where again, but I think that my like second best score and my third best score on this level still would have been enough to win it. And I didn't even, for those runs, I didn't even do the thing at the beginning where I stepped over and killed the third guy. Like for those runs, I was just killing the second guy like the other guys did. So like, again, you don't have to use all of these strategies necessarily to win. That was my point. But if you want to get your absolute best score, this was the best way I could come up with to do it. So, all right, here's GT. What's up, GT? We tried to get GT to compete with us, but he didn't start looking at it until like the thing was just about over. He was at Gamescom though. I get it. I wouldn't have been doing it either if I was in Germany.
All right.
All right, so we have one more to go over, Ruuts. This last one's called Slums, and I don't have any great wisdom to share with people for the last level. This honestly, all of the strategy here was in the enemies that I selected. I'm taking some long distance shots here, Ruuts, and skipping over a lot of guys by hitting distant targets and carefully selecting the guys that I chose because it gave me the best angle on the next enemy, almost like shooting pool, and where you leave the cue ball after you make the shot. It kind of dictates how well you play and if you're going to win. That's kind of the strategy here. So for a lot of these shots, I'm going to have like guys that are closer to me than the guy I'm shooting that are in my way. So like I'm literally going to be shooting over their shoulder through a small gap to hit the guy behind them so that I could get past them. And I did that like 2 or 3 times. And again, you'll notice here that for this level, I'm always shooting the guy that's furthest away. And like when there's a guy at the end of the alley, I'm shooting that guy. Even when there's a guy right in front of me, that it makes every bit of sense that I should be killing him. I'm not. I'm looking all the way down to the farthest guy away and trying to hit him. And this was my best time out of any of them. I got this one done in less than 9 seconds.
Wow.
So again, don't blink, ladies and gentlemen. So I killed that next to last guy so quickly that I was literally sitting right on top of the last guy. Like I killed the next of last guy when he was still standing next to the last guy. So like literally I had the last one at point blank. And the whole reason that worked out the way that it did was because I skipped over a guy that the other guys all insisted on killing. Like this guy running down the steps.
With the
Like
with the
everybody
vest on?
Yeah, everybody tries to kill that guy, which
Fuck
I
that
did too
guy.
at first. But then I realized like it's hard to do because literally in that spot, you've got probably 7 guys aiming at you point blank. Most of the time that I got that far, I got shot immediately. Like it's hard not to get killed right there. But like 1 out of every 10 runs, I was able to move just enough to dodge all of that. And at the same time, shoot that guy that's back there with the last guy. And by doing that, I mean, I cut out like full seconds compared to what these other guys did. Just again through sharpshooting and choosing the right enemies.
Let me ask you this: what
Yeah.
does the letter mean? Is that like, as far as
I
like,
don't know. I've noticed that. I thought at first that it was some kind of like maybe a letter grade for your performance, but I never saw anything there other than E,
Hmm.
and I don't know what the E means.
It's got to be letter grade, and I'll tell you why. Because I saw when I played through it, I saw consistently C's, but I wasn't trying to go through fast. I was trying to kill everybody. I was like trying to go from
Right.
person to person to person to person. Like when I was going up that building, I was trying to make sure I got everybody. And
Yeah, and that's
so
an important point. That's how you're supposed to play, Roots. Like the object of the game is to score points. We're playing on a custom rule set made by In Dreams, which said
for
go as
speed,
fast as you can.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
completely different game when you do it the other way, right? Which is kind of cool. You can go through as fast as you want. You can try to, I mean, it does it when you go through and you're trying to kill everybody and you're trying to make sure you get everybody. It becomes a nightmare. There's bullets everywhere and there's people
Yeah.
everywhere, and it's cool.
Yeah, you can't wait around on the bullets, man. They will kill you quickly. And a lot of that too is luck of the draw. Like there are certain parts like this right here where you're stuck for a half a second. Like if those guys have shotguns, you have no
You're
chance. Like you
screwed.
can't dodge it. Yeah. So you got to basically um, get to that point, hope that they have the right guns, still move a little bit because it takes a couple of shots. That guy has armor, um, and he's again far away behind another enemy. Like I think there's 3 points in this run where I'm shooting over one guy's shoulder to hit the guy behind him, and so many of my runs failed because I accidentally shot the guy that was closer to me. I just couldn't get around him, you know.
Mm. So this has got a free demo out, right? I think it's got what, 5 levels. Do you think it's worth people checking out? It's free, right?
Absolutely, and it is linked in the description below. Again, you guys can put these strategies to work for yourselves. Get your name in there with mine. Tell them when you win that you want your name next to the Virtual Strangers logo because you watched Virtual Strangers to learn how to play.
Yeah.
And we'll see you there.
How great.
Everybody can download it from the description. I think the game's coming out in a couple months. We'll get the full game,
I think you have till
and
September 9th for the competition, right? At least that's what I think I read for them. They've got till the 9th.
yeah, I think you're right about that. So again, you can download it from the link in the description. Old Darth says E stands for excellent.
It does.
I'm not going to argue with that.
That's fucking amazing, is what it, I couldn't get through this that quick. It's crazy and definitely an amazing game. I think worth picking up and checking out the demo. And when you play it, you're gonna want to buy it because I do. You know, I don't want to buy every game that I play, but I liked it. It was really good. It was very fast paced.
Gamertag says it looks crazy. Yeah, dude, I practiced a lot. This was my redemption arc from the Zombieland competition. I had to. Failure was not an option.
He also said that you're gonna love Fast Travel's Action Hero.
Yeah, I saw that. I almost talked about it during today's episode, Roots. It just barely didn't make the cut, but actually, you know, there's all these super hot clones out right now. There's this game that takes a lot from super hot. There's the cold VR that takes a lot from super hot, but Action Hero straight up jacks super hot's mechanic. Like it's the same mechanic. Time moves when you move, but they've built it up to be so much more than that by making you like a stunt man in a number of different movies. So the scenes are grouped into levels, like larger levels, and they call those movies, right? So like you can be in a horror movie or a sci-fi movie, like an Indiana Jones type movie, what have you. And you're making your way through these big elaborate set pieces with the, you know, explosions and all this crazy stuff that happens in movies. But again, the gameplay mechanics, it's just super hot. Like you're just you have to strategically make your way through set levels of enemies, and time only moves when you move.
Right.
So it's like the super hot sequel that we never got.
Well, what's funny is people would say that's a ripoff, and I would say it's a mechanic. Games have the same mechanics in 1,000 games. It's what you do with the mechanic. I think it's cool. The whole premise sounds intriguing to me. I want to be a stunt man, Wes. You know, ever since I saw Lee Majors and Fall Guy.
There you go. GT says that it's excellent, that he couldn't believe how good it was.
Oh, wow. Cool.
That's
Something to look
big
forward
words.
to.
Makes me look forward to, yeah. And Toast Interactive says that I am redeemed. Thank you. I feel redeemed. So let's see. We'll see where it goes. Hopefully they hook us up with a bunch of keys to give out to you guys, and we'll have a party here one day soon, or maybe a little bit further down the road, depending on how it goes. I'm hoping that they hold true to their word and let me have a little bit of creative control over not only how the logos are used, but naming the achievements, because my mom needs an achievement.
Yes.
We need to get all of our logos. Like I host, like there's 4 competitions, Ruuts. It just so happens that I host 4 podcasts on YouTube,
There you
4
go.
different podcasts against 3 over 3 channels. Like we should be getting all of them in there. I want everything.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
we'll let's see how they respond to any of that.
Well,
Again, nobody's reached out at all yet.
here's the thing. If it wasn't for the clause that said if you won every... Oh, shit, there is no clause. You won. I want it all. That's what I say.
Yeah. We won fair and square.
Fair and square. You put in the work. Just because Scorpio didn't cut it this time. I want... What my thing is I want to see the next competition. Because I guarantee there's going to be a little bit of friction between you two in a friendly manner, because like you said, you're just having fun.
No, I'm honestly, I'm just poking at him. I'm just poking at him because I know it bothers him. Host Interactive says I could host a few more podcasts. I really couldn't. Honestly, I'm so lucky that GT's still giving us a break from the VR CruCast right now, because I would be hammered if we were still doing CruCast through the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, Vendetta Rising. I did it again. Vendetta Forever, everyone. Check it out. Win and join the victory party. The link is in the description. Now, Ruuts, let's get into some actual news.
The Forsaken Lands, hidden from the eyes of the world, where the earth quakes beneath the tread of terrible giants. Only someone who inherits my power can succeed where I fail.
So Ruuts, I didn't bring a headline for this one. I actually just wanted to talk about what we just witnessed here, which is the second trailer in as many weeks from Skydance Games for the upcoming action adventure game Skydance's Behemoth. We've covered quite a lot of Behemoth over the last few months. As many of you remember, I went to California and played a demo of the game. We came back with a ton of footage. I played it for nearly an hour, and we answered a lot of questions. I don't want to rehash all of that here. What I do want to talk about is this most recent trailer. This came, I think, from the Future Game Show. It was part of the Gamescom festivities this past week. From what I understand, they were demoing this level at Gamescom. um, which is pretty amazing because I don't know if you noticed, Roots, but this is very different to the demo that I played and the footage that everyone has been watching for the last 2 months. Everything is not frozen anymore. You're in a very different environment, and most importantly, the Behemoth. Like I think the Behemoth I fought came up to this one's knee. Like this thing is just massive, and just like everyone was hoping, you have to climb this thing to kill it.
Yeah, you get the grappling hook up there. That looks pretty badass, right? I like
Yeah, dude.
the way it looks. It looks badass. He looks badass. It looks like somebody I don't want to cross paths with, but I guess I'm gonna have to climb him,
Yeah,
kill
you
him.
have to kill it. This is that Shadow of the Colossus experience that everyone was hoping that this game would be.
You know what's
Right?
weird?
This is
Oh,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you know what's weird is I never played any of these type of games. I don't have any concept of climbing up a big creature to kill it or anything like that. Like any of these games that Monster Hunter, any of them, looks super cool. And this will be like my first experience of that nature. So
And it's going to be such a different experience in VR. Like I haven't played Shadow of the Colossus either or Monster Hunter, but I am aware of them and I know that they're popular games. Even if I had played them though, even if you had played them, this is going to be a very different experience. Like tackling something like this in VR, climbing something that's moving and trying to kill you. Um, is something that's going to be unique to this game, something we've never really experienced in a VR game before. And I think it's funny, Roots. It's ironic that as often as we make fun of VR games for using climbing as a gimmick, the one game that's being probably most original of all of the upcoming titles in terms of gameplay mechanics, um, it's all centered around how they approach climbing because they're doing something different with it than any of the other games have done this far.
yeah, well, but to be fair, and it is different. There's a reason to be climbing. You're climbing this thing to kill it. Like my biggest gripe with the climbing these days is when it's used for padding, and it's like, and there's okay, I mean, you're a really good eye at seeing when games pad shit. You're like, and a lot of games do it. So it'll be refreshing to be actually climbing for a purpose, right? To kill this fucker. And it's a different way of climbing. I think it's climbing with a grappling hook is unique as well. So it looks cool. And
Yeah, and you're gonna love the mechanics, Roots, the way the grappling hook works and the way the climbing feels. Everything. I mean, this comes from again the Saints and Sinners development team. Like this, the physics are legit here, not only in the climbing but in the combat and everything that you do. The game mechanics are very similar to like Everslot, which is an excellent game in its own right. But this is next level in every way. Um, and I'm excited now because people are going to get to play this relatively sooner. I mean, we do finally have a launch date for this. This is coming midway through November, and that might sound like it's a long time away.
it's not.
It's not. It's going to be here in no time.
If you weren't alive in the last couple of years, it's not. Like I just told you, it's already Labor Day. What the hell happened this summer? We'll be talking about Thanksgiving and how it just happened, and we've already beat Behemoth. Be like, what the hell happened to the year, Wes? So,
What are we going to do, Roots? Like we're going to be at that same dilemma again, where we're trying to prepare for the 2024 show while all these bomb ass games are dropping left and right.
yeah, it's gonna be tough, right? And this is gonna be in a time frame that actually falls into the game of the year discussion. So, well, we
This one's going to be.
can't put it off.
It's definitely going to be coming in with some recency bias, right? Like we're going to literally be voting off of playing this. One of the games, I think it's the Alien game, is coming in December actually, so it'll fall outside the Game of the Year nomination window, and that'll be a next year title, which I'm kind of thankful for because we're going to have all these other games, and going back to December last year when Resident Evil 4 came out, we're gonna have quite the decision. Like I think you're right. I think we might have to stop doing regular shows fairly early on in November, just so that we have ample time to play the games. At least we'll stop doing numbered episodes.
Right.
Like, I'm not against doing Strangers in the Night and either streaming gameplay of the Game of the Year contenders or discussing them after having played them through the week. I think we could do some of those episodes,
Yeah.
but like the numbered episodes like this, we're going to have to cut out a couple of months probably ahead of the show.
I think it's kind of perfect too. That's December for Servios, because there's a chance, and I will concede that the window for me, the chance is slimming down the more I see of it. But there's still a chance it sucks, right? So
Yeah.
it would be amazing if like that was the case, which I don't want that to be the case, but if that's the case, it would be amazing that it's so bad that we don't even. It's like, oh shit, I'm not even going into this fucking thing. Everybody else just saved me time. But I really do think it looks good. It looks like it's going to be good. And maybe Servios learned from their last bomb and actually last several games and have really actually taken this game and made it like amazing. So
GT says CruCast starts back in October. You heard it here first.
Here we go, dude. That's even close to November. Well, that's amazing. I was just telling Wes, because we haven't, our Monday shows haven't been Monday during the day. I'm like, I get off of work every day and I just kind of sit here. So it'll be nice to have something to do.
Well, I don't. I work. I work all day.
Well,
I got to talk to Eric today for like the first time in forever. You know, he's been traveling and stuff. And we found ourselves in the same meeting room
oh my God.
during my last meeting of the day. And we just kind of hung out there for probably 30 or 45 minutes talking, him and I and Miles Dyer. Again, following on another meeting, we just kind of stayed after everyone else left. And when I got done with that, it was almost 6 p.m. Ruuts, and I hadn't looked at the news yet. Like, I hadn't even thought about what we were going to be talking about tonight. So, yeah.
Yeah, I had the other end of it. I just every once in a while, when I got home from work, I just kept checking the Google Drive, and Wes isn't working on it yet. Oh, I still got more time. Oh shit, okay, something's happening, and so I just kind of chill.
Yeah.
It's actually become my chill day, so I don't mind it.
GT also says that he witnessed this behemoth. He was also the only one that beat it on the first day.
Oh my God.
And then the devs nerfed it for everyone else, which was kind of a weak move. Don't nerf it. You don't want to do that. Make people get good.
Yeah, get good, son.
Yeah, I'm just joking. I'm fine with I'm fine with them nerfing it for a demo. They better not nerf the game.
Yeah, thank you. Somebody was like, I don't know what's going on with my background. It just wants to like be tiny today. So let me fix that. I appreciate the heads up. It's like showing up with beard hair or something. You don't want that. Bed beard or whatever you want to call it. It's not cool.
Anyways, this is awesome. I don't need to see any more Behemoth. I mean, I said this on Without Parole last week. Like, enough. Like, this is good. I'm glad that they've come out and confirmed to people that they've put everything in here that people want.
Right.
Like, they get to climb the behemoths, they get to kill it. We've played it, we've demoed it, we've answered all the questions about it. Everyone knows exactly what it is. Like, enough now. I don't need to see any more. I don't want to have any more of it spoiled.
No more spoilers, Wes? Is that what you're saying?
No more spoilers. We've got 2.5 months before the thing launches. Just go away and we'll talk about it when November gets here. And it'll be an amazing experience for everyone.
Tiffany, you heard it here first. No more spoilers.
Second, Tiffany was in the thing when I said it the other day.
Okay, okay. So Tiffany, you heard it the other day first, from Wes.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move along. We do actually have a couple of actual headlines to get to before we sign off. So why don't we move on to one of those?
This rat
cult spreads through Gotham like a plague. I have to stop it, even if it consumes me.
The corrupt system has failed you. Are you not angry? Fight back!
It's the freaking bat! We aren't afraid of you! The bat dies tonight!
Jim, this Rat King could be anywhere. A face in the crowd, a foot soldier in his own fanatical mob. So how in the hell do we find him?
Targets are all city employees, civil servants, public officials.
You could have been more than a symbol. You could have been a god.
Look out!
If you don't calm down, someone's going to die.
Alfred, we tried it your way, now we do it mine.
Something big's going down tonight.
We repress our rage, our fears. It feeds the shadow deep inside us.
You're everything that's wrong with Gotham! I'm done holding back! I can bring the Rat King to you.
Batman Arkham Shadow reveals first gameplay at Gamescom opening night live. This from Video Games Chronicle, Jordan Midler. Oculus Studios and Camouflage have revealed the first gameplay footage of Batman Arkham Shadow. The VR title, which will be released this October, was shown off during Gamescom opening night live on Tuesday. This time around, you are Batman, reads an official description of the game. Land bone-crushing punches, glide into hapless enemies, retreat to the shadows. Camouflage has reimagined the core Arkham experience for VR, drawing particular inspiration from Batman Arkham Asylum and its intricate and interconnected level design. You'll need to master all of Batman's abilities in order to save Gotham City. Set between the events of Batman Arkham Origins and Batman Arkham Asylum, you'll step into the shoes of a relatively young and increasingly confident Bruce Wayne as he takes on the Rat King, a dangerous new criminal with a cultish following. Batman Arkham Shadow was announced in May when it was confirmed to be a MetaQuest 3 exclusive. It's the second VR game to feature the Batman Arkham name after Batman Arkham VR, which was released alongside the original PlayStation VR headset. And I guess that's the article. Kind of abrupt ending, but I think we get the message here. I think the message here is exactly what everyone wants to hear, Ruuts. Like when we heard that this was going to be a Batman Arkham game, we were hopeful that unlike the original Batman Arkham VR, which was a great game in its own time and still has many redeeming qualities, it wasn't a traditional Batman Arkham game. It was a watered down VR version that took place in the Batman Arkham universe. But VR gamers today have different expectations, different standards than VR gamers had back then. And many of us were hopeful that this game would be more patterned after the Flat series. And apparently, judging by this gameplay and judging by what everyone's saying, it seems to be exactly what Camouflage has done here. Basically mimicking the level design and feature set of the Batman Arkham Asylum game, only adapted for first-person VR, which I don't know about you, is great news. It's exactly what everyone wants.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what's funny is the original Arkham game, the way it was designed as well, I really liked it as well, and I felt like you could make a game of that nature, because it was more of like a detective. It was different, right? But it was cool, but it was short. But everybody was saying they would be happy if you got just a longer version of that, which I would have been as well. But I think this is more along the lines of what we wanted, right? And considering Iron Man was so good, but the game, the combat didn't feel as good as this looks like it's gonna feel. It looks like it's gonna be like you were saying, legit, like how you would feel playing flat, but you're in VR and it's first person, and looks cool, looks badass.
Yeah, and I think that if this game turns out to be exactly what it looks like it is going to be, this kind of turns the idea on its head that we could never do a Spider-Man first-person game in VR, which I think it would be fine, by the way, to do a third-person Spider-Man game in VR. But I think when you see these action scenes in this game and how they kind of tackle this combat with multiple enemies at the same time, um, it becomes rather apparent fairly quickly that a good developer could absolutely bring some of these more high action comic book franchises like Spider-Man into VR and do a good job of it.
Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully we'll get a day where we can see like a full, uh, fledged same game as the flat, but like a different adaptation, like you were saying, which obviously probably won't be on a Quest just because it's console. It's a little bit less able to do that, but we're not that far off where it would. And a lot of people were saying it's kind of disappointing that this isn't on PlayStation VR 2 and it isn't on PC, and it is, yeah, of course. But it's a step in the right direction. I mean, exclusives are good in a way for I guess it is good for Meta, right? And it's good.
Well, that's kind of
it's the best platform, the biggest platform. So
well, that's kind of the argument for exclusives, right? Like, obviously, it sucks that some people aren't going to be able to play it. Like, in a perfect world, we would get these games and everyone would have access to it. At the same time, does this game get made if it isn't to be an exclusive? I mean, the reason why this game's getting made is because Meta's paying a shit ton of money to make it. And the reason why they're doing that is to sell Quest 3 headsets. So, like, maybe we don't get this game if it's not an exclusive, and it may just be a time thing. Like,
it's
this
true.
very same studio, Camouflage, did a PlayStation VR exclusive Iron Man, which to this day is the best superhero game we've ever seen in VR. But it didn't stay exclusive forever. It came to the MetaQuest headset years later. And I know what people are saying. Well, yeah, that's because
They bought
Meta
them.
bought Camouflage, but that's
Yeah.
not true. That Iron Man
That's
came to
true.
Quest before Meta bought Camouflage.
Maybe it was part of the deal. So we want it.
It's probably facilitated the deal. They did such a great job
Yeah.
bringing that console VR game onto the standalone headset that Meta said, you know what, these guys really know what they're doing. We're thinking about doing a Batman game. Who better to acquire than Camouflage to do that? So yeah, it's not, I wouldn't say all hope was lost. No, it's obviously not likely going to come to other platforms, but we've seen other Meta-funded games come to other platforms, like Medal of Honor, for example, was completely funded out by Meta to be a Quest game, and eventually it came to Steam. So it wouldn't be unheard of. Now, PlayStation, maybe not going to come to PlayStation anytime soon, but certainly not impossible.
Yeah. Who knows? So the bottom line is they want it to sell their headsets for a time, and then when they realize it's not, then maybe, right? So.
And if it really looks like this on the headset, man, like this looks exceptional. This is really our first Quest 3 exclusive that we've seen. And you can tell it, right? You can tell it by looking at it. This doesn't look like, we've got some good looking games on the Quest 2. Don't get me wrong. Like Asgard's Wrath 2 is beautiful on the Quest, even if it can drop frames from time to time. It's a beautiful looking game. It don't look like this. Like, and a lot of this could be smoke and mirrors. It is a very dark game. It is well suited, you know,
Right.
to be optimized for standalone. But I mean, just looking at that, like, if you didn't know already that that was a standalone VR game, you wouldn't guess it by looking at it. Like that looks like a legit game that could be on PlayStation or even PC to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hussein X said upload VR said don't worry though, if you can't play Batman, like if you don't have Quest 3, you can always play Game of the Year 2022, What the Bat, available on all platforms.
Yeah.
And that is a good
The
point.
real Batman.
And that is
Here's
the
the
real
real Bat-
Batman, and you could do it today. You don't even have to wait. And it's not exclusive. It's on all platforms. You're good to go. So,
What the Batman.
yeah, what the Batman. Yeah, no, I think it looks really good. Looks amazing. I would say so far, I can't remember what that other one was that was going to be a Quest 3 exclusive that didn't need to be. It was like a knockoff. I can't remember what game it was. Not even a main game. But
So I think you're thinking of the Alien game, and
No.
it wasn't.
not Alien.
No?
It was some other game. It was like some, I don't want to say chintzy game, but like some game that's just not a big game. And we talked about it, and it was Quest 3 exclusive. And I was like, that doesn't need to be Quest 3 exclusive. But I was going to say, so far, 2 for 2, I would say, to me, Hitman 3 looks like it's going to be better. The graphics are going to make a difference. It looked good to me, and everything going on. I think it's going to require Quest 3, and I think this game as well very well requires Quest 3 as well. And that was my biggest thing is I can not be happy about something but still understand it.
Right.
And then that's different than feeling like there was no reason for it. And if I see game after game actually legitimately need to be on Quest 3, I'll suck it up and I will just I won't bitch about it. But
Well, there was really no excuse for otherwise, right? Because like, if you're going to be an exclusive on Quest 3, that processor is over
Use it.
twice.
yeah,
It's over twice the power of the last gen processor. Like, use that. There's no reason not to if you're an exclusive.
Beavis says, I wonder if Resolution Games D&D game will be Quest 3 exclusive. That's the question. If this game does well, Batman does well, and Hitman 3 does well, and you start to see these games do well, you'll start to see more of it. If it doesn't, if their
You
sales
will.
suffer, then they'll scale back. I guarantee it. So
You will see that, of course, naturally. I mean, Quest 4 is going to be out
right.
in less than 2 years. So like, people aren't going to want to stick around on the 2 forever. With that said, the vast majority of gamers are still playing on Quest 2 today. So I think it's a safe assumption that the vast majority of VR games that are in development right now are being developed for Quest 2.
Yeah.
We'll see exclusives, but it won't become commonplace until everyone fully buys in on 3. And it could be that 3 turns out as a platform to be a stepping stone.
Right.
Like I said, 4 is right around the corner, and it might actually be that that'll be the upgrade that everyone buys instead of buying into the 3.
Yeah, it's true. It'll be a big enough upgrade that and they'll need to. But yeah, that's a good
Right.
point. And it definitely will make a difference. I can't remember what I was gonna say.
It's all good because we are moving on to the final headline of the episode. Ruuts, take it away. Max Mustard leaps on the PlayStation VR 2 in October. This from James Galizio, Upload VR. In addition to its previous Quest release earlier this year, Max Mustard hits PlayStation VR 2 in early October. While players on MetaQuest have been able to enjoy Max Mustard since March, the VR 3D platformer is finally starting to drop on more platforms, with the title dropping for PlayStation VR 2 in October. In addition to the release date, developer Toast Interactive also released a new trailer for the PSVR 2 version of the game, which we just watched. While Max Mustard is also slated to release on Steam down the line, today's announcement is exclusively for Sony's current gen headset on PlayStation 5. Unfortunately, this means that although PC players can now use the PSVR 2 with Steam, they'll have to wait a little longer to play Max Mustard on the platform. Max Mustard sports 40 levels, utilizing a mix of third-person platforming and first-person power-ups to help Max along her adventure, including taking down 4 bosses that aim to challenge your knowledge accrued from previous levels. Players can also upgrade Max and your own movesets as they progress through the game. Max Mustard is currently available for Quest. The game will be available for PSVR 2 starting on October 3rd. So this is awesome, Ruuts. We've known for a while that this is coming, that the best platformer that we've seen in VR in years is coming to the most feature-rich hardware that we've ever seen in VR. I didn't read this article before adding it to the thing. I wish I had, because the question that everyone has had from day one about this port is it going to be a straight Quest port, or is it going to have PlayStation VR 2 specific upgrades and features? And the answer is yes. This is not going to be your Quest version of the game, but it is going to be an upgraded version of the game with upgraded visuals and taking advantage of the PSVR 2's unique feature set, like headset haptics, advanced haptics, adaptive triggers, and so on. I was hoping that this article would kind of spell all of that out for me so we could speak specifically to what those features are and how they'll be used. But I can tell you, if you follow Toast Interactive on Twitter, that they've done a pretty good job of highlighting the upgrades that the game is getting. Even so much going so far, Ruuts, as to post side-by-side screenshots of the very noticeable visual upgrades that the game's getting. We love this game on Quest already, and if it was a straight port, I think that most PSVR 2 players would be happy with it. But the fact that the game is already great, and then now we're getting even better version, makes me happy that
Right.
I didn't finish it. Like, I've only played about halfway through this game. I'm glad I'm going to be able to experience the latter half of the game on the best hardware available.
Yeah, and it gives you an excuse to go back into. Not that you need one, because it's such a good game. Like you said, it was making an amazing game even better. And yeah, it'll be really cool to see on the OLED screens as well. So
Yeah, man, I think that's going to be one of the biggest differences, and we've seen that, right? We've seen that through the last couple of weeks, just using the headset on PC through all of these games that we've been playing through the Quest headsets. We've seen what a difference that can make, and these type of colorful games, it stands out the most in these types of games. So even if they hadn't done anything to improve the game graphically, you're going to see an immediate difference just in the quality of the panel and the increased field of view,
Right.
which does make a difference in this type of platforming game where you have things going on all around you and the character moving at distance, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. But they went above and beyond, and I'll add them to my list of developers that, as I watch what they do, I gain more and more respect for, because a lot of devs, or most devs these days, they drop their game and move on. And if they port something, it's a quick, easy port. They don't take the time to put the extra touches in there. Like, you have the hardware, use it, you know. So I think it's really cool and makes me want to play it even more. And
Yeah.
so
It makes it worth it, right? Because people have been waiting on this for a while, and you know how VR gamers are. They get impatient, right? Like, we want it now. And we've had to wait for a while on it. But I think it stands to reason that, the types of upgrades that everyone wants don't just happen overnight, right? Like, if people had gotten this game 3 months ago and it was just a straight port, then they'd be complaining that, why didn't you make it 90 hertz native, or why doesn't it have real time lighting, or why doesn't it use headset haptics?
that's that's,
Um,
that's 2024. Give it to
right,
me now, and then like, what the fuck is this? This sucks. I'm like, dude, you said you wanted it now. It takes time to make a game.
right.
So yeah, I think I think they're doing things right, and I think it's gonna fill a hole for all the people that feel like they got screwed over by Astrobot. Well, here you go. Here's your new mascot for PlayStation VR 2 Max, and I think they're gonna love it. So
Well, it is timely. Like, we're still hurting from that Astrobot business. So we need a rebound, lover Roots, and here's Max
she's
coming in to
ready.
save the day.
She's
Yeah, that's
ready.
right.
Yeah.
And on that note, you know who loves to have their whole field, Roots?
My mom!
She does. She does a lot.
But no, needless to say, while I don't have the spec sheet in front of me, I think everything that I just spouted off is true. I think this game's going to be running 90 hertz native on PlayStation VR. I think that they have added real-time lighting and shadows in the game. I think they're using headset haptics and advanced haptics in the controllers. I think all of the above will be true of this game. And it's only going to serve, again, to make a great game even better. And, it's a small team at Toast Interactive, so I think it's commendable that they're putting in this kind of work and support. And I'm sure that the Steam version, which is coming next, will get just as much attention put into it. And those PC gamers out there, those few remaining PC exclusive gamers, will have something very special to look forward to as well.
Yep.
Thanks, Toast. Toast is bouncing out of the chat. They just wanted to hang around and we'll hang out and chat with us during the episode. But it's time to go home. It's the end of the workday. It's 5:00. So thanks, whichever one of you it is. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. With that said, Roots, I think it's time for us to move on out of headlines into the week's reminders. And there's actually stuff coming out this week, Roots. It isn't anything super popular or well known, but that doesn't necessarily mean it isn't going to be good.
Mayday, mayday! Flight 74 is going down. I repeat, Flight 74 is going down. Mayday, mayday!
From now on, you do our bidding. Or you die. You are out of time, cabron.
Fucking window. This background, Wes. What is happening? Okay, anyway.
Well, what's happening is that you're, if I had to guess, I would say that you're broadcasting your camera at 4K, and for whatever reason, in these scenes, your background is set to 1080p. Thereby, it's shrinking itself down to 1/4 of the screen size, and
bullshit.
you're fixing it, and you might have to fix it in every scene.
Yeah.
But after you get it fixed, it should stay fixed.
I thought I had it fixed. I guess I forgot. I'll have to go back to the next scene and fix it. Oh, hey, there it is. Anyway, go ahead.
It's Flight 74. This game is coming this week to the Meta Quest platform, actually. And this is an interesting one, Roots. Like, typically flight sim games are only for flight sim gamers, right?
Right.
It isn't something that casual gamers typically find particularly exciting. I mean, it's fun. It's one of the coolest things that you can do in VR as a once every now and then thing. But unless you're a flight sim enthusiast, typically people don't play these games and come back to them and come back to them and come back to them. With that said, this isn't your typical flight sim. This game has a story to it, and this game puts you flying your aircraft and crashing into some kind of remote island where you are discovered by the cartel, who captures you and basically recruits you into doing their bidding. So the concept here is this isn't just a flight sim game, but you're running jobs for the cartel, smuggling drugs and God knows what else to countries all over the world, killing people with fentanyl slowly.
It better not be people we're smuggling, Wes. I'm going to be pissed. Drugs are one thing, but people are people.
It depends. It depends on what kind of people.
Oh, that's right. If they're bad people, that's a good point.
Could be those people.
Those people. Yeah, no. I'll tell you what. Chris Richardson says he's got a good point. He says, "Isn't this a rehash?" Wait, that's my word. This is a Rift game, an old one at that.
Not only is this a Rift game, this is a Gear VR game.
Oh, God.
This is an Oculus Go game. Yeah, this game has been around for a minute and basically seeing rebuilds and reiterations upon each new form that the meta hardware takes. This has been around since the OG early days of VR, but something tells me that the Rift version didn't have hand tracking and all of these features that they're touting in this trailer.
That's true. It didn't have hand tracking. I was shocked at hand tracking, just because I don't even know anything about the game, and I'm sure it doesn't need it. But now, can I use the controller? I guess they better let me use the controller because this is a Rift game, right? Clearly, it's got controls. So
then again, though, I mean, Gear VR didn't have controls.
That's true. What did you?
Neither did Oculus Go.
Do you think?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Controller, huh? Weird.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to judge it based on it being old. I mean, if the last couple of weeks of our content has shown anything, it's that some of the best games in VR came out during those days. And we've seen other games that, started on Rift, made their way through Gear and Go and all of those platforms and turned out to be great.
Yeah, Crashland started on Gear or Go and went to Gear and then went to Quest. That's one of the best, wave shooters.
Yeah. Go did have a controller, but it wasn't a
hand tracking
6-off track controller. It was just like a regular, like a laser pointer style controller. It had it could track these types of movements, but not these types of movements.
How weird!
Right? I remember. Yeah,
I didn't. Use
it. It was a budget device meant for media consumption. A good idea before its time.
Right.
I think there will be room for those types of devices in the future when the hardware shrinks quite a bit more and is more comfortable to wear and has better displays. I think a media device will be something handy, like glasses you can put on and watch 3D movies. I think there's a market for that.
Can you imagine? There's gonna be people are gonna walk into a room and there's gonna be like 7 people sitting there looking at a white wall with sunglasses on. Like, if you didn't know what's happening, like, what are you doing? Oh, we're watching a movie. That's the future. It's amazing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But this is what Quest players get this week. but there are other platforms, and we're not going to leave them out. PlayStation VR 2 has something coming out this week as well. PlayStation. The utility room is coming to PSVR 2 this week, Roots. Kind of a bit of a surprise, to be honest. I mean, this was uh, a relatively little known, independent, interactive VR experience from Steam that came out last year. We talked a little bit about it on the show. We almost covered it like hands on, but pivoted at the last moment. Um, but not exactly would have been my first candidate to get a PlayStation VR port, but here we are. Um, this is an odd title, Roots. Obviously, again, the designer trying to be very artistic and give people something that they can maybe draw some meaning from, and at the very least have a memorable experience playing through. Um, you played this a little bit back in the day, did you not?
I don't remember if I did or not. I guess I must have. I doesn't look familiar, but it looks cool. Looks Tom Flesh Eater Gaming says it's a trippy experience. So
It is a bit trippy. And it isn't. I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to call it a game. I mean, by some definition, it would be. I mean, I guess if you fall off a ledge, it kills you and you have to start over again. So by that definition, by the main fan definition,
it is a game.
And there are some interactive things that you do in it. So yeah, if we're going to call it a game, we'll call it an exploration game. I'd like to call it an interactive experience because that's what's going on here. It's all about the experience. It's about exploring your way through this other realm, this other dimension that sits just outside our own. Apparently, this is the place where our universe and our reality is created. And we are a tourist there, witnessing the processes that have maintained our reality on a day-to-day basis. And apparently, it has a lot to do with giant stone heads that float around everywhere and move slowly.
I knew
but it's
it.
an interesting journey.
I knew
Yeah,
it.
I did too.
Yeah.
So obvious, right?
Yeah.
But it's interesting for those of you out there like myself, people who are into like dark surrealism. You're probably going to enjoy this. People who are more rigid in their tastes and only like, stuff with super compelling gameplay probably won't get much out of this. But I think things like this do a good job of highlighting what's the best aspect of VR, and that is presence in places and situations that you just cannot experience in real life or any other way other than VR. Um, I think this definitely fits that definition. And if you're into that sort of virtual tourism aspect of VR, then this might be worth a look for you.
Yep, I agree. And Chris Richardson says teleport only, boo. Yeah.
No, it's not teleport only. It's not teleport only. There's
go.
smooth locomotion in the game. Now, it is hybrid. So even though you enable smooth locomotion, they also leave teleport turned on for you because there are parts of the game where you'll get stuck.
Mm.
If you don't have teleport, you'll need that. Not only Roots does this game have smooth locomotion and teleportation, but it also has jumping, and it's got two different jumping mechanics actually, Roots. There's a jump button that lets you do like moderate to medium like size jumps, and then there's another jump mechanic that has you like swing your arms up in the air, and you do that when you need to make like a super long jump across like a big
Oh
gap.
God.
You do that.
I was
So
hoping.
again,
I was hoping that they would incorporate good old arm swing in your jump. There's not enough devs doing that.
it's not bad, honestly. They use it so seldom, like you might have to once or twice
Right.
in a level do that on a very big jump. That it's not cumbersome at all. Like I played seated and did it perfectly fine.
Oh,
It's not like Stride, where it's a parkour game where you're just constantly swinging your arms and it gets old really quickly.
stride style
Actually,
jumping. Someone said. Now, not stride.
yeah,
The stride style. If you only jump like 3 or 4 times in the game, it sounds like, or very few. Yeah, looks cool.
it's pretty cool. It's about 90 minutes of content. It's not super long. It's like 12 or $13 for the title. So again, not for everyone, but if you're like me and you enjoy this sort of experience, certainly worth checking out. And for more on this title, tune in next week as we get into Game of the Month. It's time
Oh
for Game of the
yeah.
Month. It's
Yeah, it's coming up quick. Well, I guess not really. We're already at Labor Day, so we're
yeah,
coming up
all right.
on it. So
But anyway, that's one for Quest. That's one for PSVR 2 Roots. Do we have anything for Steam VR? Z.O.N.A Origin hits Steam this week, in early access, of course. It's a weird trailer, first of all, but an interesting game. So the reason I say it's a weird trailer, it's literally just them walking up to 3 different enemies and shooting them. That's the whole trailer. But there's so much more interesting stuff in this game if you go to the developer's YouTube channel and start looking through some of the content they've got on there. This game has actually a lot of different aspects to it, but they don't have any one video that kind of showcases everything together. They have a video that focuses on this aspect and a video that focuses on that, a video on the combat, a video on this. So I didn't know what to pick. So I just picked like the trailer for the beginning to show off some shooting. And then for this footage that we're running here in the background, it shows off some of the environments and exploration. Essentially what this game is, Roots, is it's a Stalker clone, from a small indie developer, but with super high production value and a fairly fleshed out uh, gameplay uh, structure. Like this is a pretty feature rich title with pretty high production value. Um, People that were playing the beta version of this 6 months and a year ago were raving about it and saying that, I mean, the gameplay combat needs to be tweaked a little bit, but everything else is exceptional in this game. So this is one of those, again, Stalker style, Into the Radius style titles that don't look to be. It doesn't look to be as super heavy on the like survival aspects, but more about the the scavenging and the combat, the post-apocalyptic factions, and these sorts of aspects that, to be quite honest, are what makes games like Into the Radius really cool for the
Right.
most part. I'm intrigued with this one. It is on the one hand super indie. On the other hand, it looks like this indie team has done a pretty exceptional job putting together a decent game. And again, this is only early access launch. There's still a lot to be done with it.
Yeah, no, it looks really good. Looper said he played it on Steam Next Fest demo and was impressed with how the shady graphics looked photorealistic. And that's one of the things that I was looking at this trailer and wow, those buildings looked really real, as they were walking by, are really good. And so yeah, this looks cool. I definitely I'm just hoping that and it's not like Into the Radius in the way that and I know that some people are going to disagree. Drillo, I'm sorry. I don't want to individually load bullet by bullet. Like some of the things that game had, I hate it, and like it's some of the things I love. And so hopefully it's not as so realistic in that respect, right? Because that's just not for me. People love it. I just don't.
Yeah, I haven't played it nor watched enough of it to say, but that's the vibe I'm getting off of it. Is it isn't quite as hardcore as something like Into the Radius is. But even just like this is a fairly boring video. It's just going through some of the environments. I think this looks compelling because of the environments that you're in. Not only are they so beautifully rendered out, but I love exploring this type of thing, right? Abandoned architecture, post-apocalyptic landscape with a touch of sci-fi going on. Like this is the type of world that I like to explore. And it looks like they've put something fairly detailed together here to explore. So as long as the gameplay mechanics are just mildly entertaining, I'm going to enjoy being in this world. And again, for the third time, this is early access, and there's plenty of time for the gameplay to get better before it comes into full launch. That is assuming that the gameplay is not awesome now. It could be. Inferno 9 said that he was just playing it and that he likes it as well.
Yeah. So is the gameplay awesome in Inferno 9? You do have to load the bullets from the box. I don't know what the... So you got to put them in the... I don't know. I guess, this is the thing. I just, when I play a video game, I'm just not looking to lose myself in a simulator. I'm not trying to recreate life and pretend I'm, Agent Johnson and I've got to reload my magazine. And like, I just don't go that far. I just want to grab a magazine, pop it in the gun and fucking go. I know some people like to micromanage bullets, but I don't. So.
Well, I don't know about this game specifically, but a lot of that stuff Into the Radius you can work around. You don't have to do all of that. You don't have to scavenge for food and individual bullets and all that stuff. You can buy your way out of it, right? By having money and going into the shop and paying to heal and
that's the way to do it.
Things like that.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Anyway, this looks cool. Are we gonna play it? I don't know, Ruuts. Like this, it's early access, so it's not gonna fall under Game of the Month. Do we want to look at this now, or do we want to wait and let it bake a little bit more?
Well, I mean, maybe see what I mean. I wouldn't mind checking it out as long as it's in a state to check out, right? So,
well, I would hope that it would be with it launching and with so many people. Like people have been playing it for a while. Like I said, there were people playing demos and betas of this game 6 months ago. Gamertag has a video on this from a while back. Yeah, I mean, could be fun.
Looper's got a good point. It could be early access game of the year. You never know.
That is a good point. That is a good point. That is an award that we give out, and we haven't been playing a ton of early access games this year, so
That's true.
this might be a good candidate. I don't know. We'll talk about it. Maybe we don't cover it this week. We do have game of the month coming up. I assume we're going to do that on Monday, like we have been doing. So maybe the titles that we cover on Saturday end up being actual nominees. But if we want to go outside the box, as we often do, maybe we don't. Maybe we just play whatever we want this Saturday and keep the game of the month stuff for Monday. But time will tell. This looks cool. I think the important thing and the moral of the story is it doesn't matter what platform you're playing on this week. There's actually something to play, which hasn't been the case every week through the summer. So
Inferno 9 says it's on sale on Steam for about $15 at the moment, around 15.
that is true. Available now on launch window discount for a limited time. So pick it up if you're interested. Looper has a good point. We're also getting Stalker 2 with UEVR this year. I'm wondering about that though, man, because I mean we get a lot of games with Unreal Engine, but not all of us have Ruuts' 4090 computer to play those games. Ruuts, there was one that came out this last week called Black Myth Wukong that looks absolutely stunning. But I didn't even think about trying it with UEVR because I know there's not a chance in hell that my computer runs that game.
I tried it and it's weird. It's I got it to run, but even it just you got to put it in alternate eye, not the main one, and in there it's just there's like that you could see like ghosting of things, and I messed around with it for about 20 or 30 minutes, and I said, you know what, I don't feel like fucking with this. And so I ended up returning it. But I tried because it looked cool. That game looks cool, doesn't it?
I haven't watched a bunch of it. I've just seen some like scenery and stuff from it. It's beautiful. I can tell you that.
The gameplay, it's very soul-like, but it's different in a way. And then I just like the story and the fact that a lot of people were trying to get it canceled before it came out for whatever reason. And it just it looks pretty cool. I did try it though. I just it's in UEVR it's not running the best. At least I couldn't get it to run the best.
Right. Yeah, so we'll come back to that when I upgrade my computer. By that time there will be profiles made for the game routes that we can just load in and it'll be optimized and we won't have to tinker with it to dial it in. It'll just be ready to go.
Yeah.
We'll play that one right after we go into Hellblade 2.
I never did try Hellblade 2.
It was on sale on Steam this week. I thought about picking a Steam copy of it up just to have for when we do play it.
Yeah.
Moving on to some viewer comments. I like turtles. 7947 says OVR advanced settings has options for stick turning for games that don't support stick turning. You can also adjust your height via the same application. So we were talking about a game last week, Ruuts. I don't even remember which one it was. That didn't support seated gameplay very well. There was no stick turning.
What was that?
There was no height adjustment. Apparently all you got to do is pick up that OVR program that so many people use on Steam and it'll just put that stuff in there for you.
How crazy. I wonder how good the smooth turn works, I
don't know. That's a good question. How well does it actually work in practice, right? Like if it's janky and weird, then what's the point? So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we pick it up next time. Next time we run into one of these walls, maybe we give it a shot.
I agree. Son, I wanted to shout out Son what the F. WTF says he made it live, or they made it live for once, not on night shift. Well, welcome, and you made it in time for viewers' comments, and then you can go back at the end and rewatch fresh, and you have that whole show before you. Right?
Grandpa Barbecue wants to know if we're going to do a UEVR category, and we like to recognize the mods. We do mod of the
Mm.
year. We do modder of the year. I don't know how we would do that, Roots. Like,
I guess we could.
I mean,
What would be a best UEVR mod of the, like the best of the group.
again, though, I mean, like, it's not like we've got a ton of like mods that are built from UEVR. We've got UEVR the mod. Like, if we wanted to recognize individual Unreal Engine titles for being cool, we could do that.
That's what it would be. It would be like the best, maybe the best, not implementation, but it felt like a real VR game, like, or you know what I mean, or like it was just so good, because not every UEVR game is good. We just talked about Wukong. It doesn't run very well. Some run really well for everybody, right? So
yeah, and that's true, and that would work for this year.
Right.
But what do we do next year with it? Like, we don't want the same games to be nominated year after year after year. So, literally, this year would be the only year that the entire catalog would be eligible, and next year we would have to limit it to 2025 releases.
Right.
I mean, I guess we could do
You just say that, going forward after, you do that. If it was a previous year, it just gets grandfathered into the archives. You can't pick it. It's already been picked. Everything else is available, but those, that one game or whatever. And it just slowly whittles down.
That kind of feels weird though, because then it seems like we're giving out like, a second best prize, and then a third best prize, and then a fourth best prize. What kind of a prize is that?
But what is the likelihood that those games are going to even be in the nomination with all the flat games that come out in the next year? It's probably going to be, at least I would think, it could be one of the new games, right? So you have all those new games to go against. So they're kind of like defending their title almost. I don't know. I guess we'll see how it all plays out, but it's very interesting to think about.
Yeah, it's a discussion we'll certainly have going forward, and we'll listen to your feedback as always. The patrons and just viewers, leave comments. Let us know what you think. Think about it. How would we go about doing that? Like, we're already doing mod of the year, and let's be honest, we already know what the mod of the year is. We already know who the modder of the year is going to be.
Right.
There's no way anyone else comes up and has the impact that this thing has had ever. We'll probably end up in future years renaming the awards because this year's mods and modder has been so impactful.
Maybe somebody releases something next week that puts any game, any engine in there. That'd be cool. It's not likely though.
We'll see. Yeah, we could certainly break it down by first person, third person, gamepad versus motion controllers. Like, we could do all of that, but then we're giving awards basically for profiles without having names to attach to the profiles in most cases. It's weird. It's a complicated thing because, what you get out of UEVR is what you put into it.
Right.
And we don't put a lot into it, honestly. We don't. We just hit play and go with it most of the time.
Right. There's some people that would be like, dude, there's so much more you could do.
Yeah. AJ, for example.
Yeah.
Just one pant says, "Hey guys, good show as always. Just wanted to congratulate the Flat to VR team for not only your milestones, but also your incredible presence on the VR Games Showcase live stream. As a company that was just starting off, I had fairly adjusted and realistic expectations about your potential partnerships. You guys far exceeded them. The VR industry has been going in circles over the last years, something that even the live stream reflected, and it's been so long since I've seen developers that knew exactly what they were doing. I really can't think of better games you could have realistically gotten, and knowing that they were just the tip of the iceberg is beyond surprising. I'm also really glad that the need for variety is also recognized. I'm a very cautious person, but I'm glad to say that I haven't been this excited not only for VR, but the gaming industry in general for years. A lot of people aren't familiar with the flat indies or older titles because the recognition that you guys have already started revolutionizing the industry would be more vocal. Best wishes, and I'm super happy to watch your journey. Thank you, Pat. And like I mentioned earlier, I did take your comment and all of the other very complimentary statements that people made about Flat to VR and the reveal, and I passed it all along to the team. And again, thanks everyone for all the nice comments and well wishes. Everyone is certainly aware of what everyone thinks. So thanks for sharing. Main fan says on PC, you can super sample Hitman 3 as high as you can, even 500%.
Damn.
It's terrible without doing that. It was with my index, at least. I haven't tried it on Quest 3. People keep saying this, Ruuts, that like it's horrible if you don't like crazy super sample
I
it
don't
up.
remember that.
I don't remember that being the case for me. Now, with that said,
I may have super sampled it for all I know, though.
I probably did a little bit, but you know, when I think back to my experience in Hitman 3, it wasn't really much of an experience in Hitman 3 as much it was an experience in Hitman 1. Like
Right.
most of my playtime was in Hitman 1. It wasn't in Hitman 3. I wanted to play them in order. They all use the same engine to be brought into VR. So when I talk about Hitman 3, I'm primarily talking about Hitman 1. Maybe the new levels are just so demanding that dynamic resolution that people keep talking about really kicks in on the
Right.
part 3 and really pulls it back really hard.
I'm definitely gonna have to go
That's
back in there.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of that would cause such a discrepancy in people's experience with it.
Right.
But yeah, we talked about it last week. This is one we need to start playing with now, so we can talk about it in a few weeks before we go on our break. MC Schwartz. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Hitman 1 through 3 are some of my favorite VR games of all time. Such a great, detailed world to explore. Probably the most realized, real to life locations to explore in VR. I would boost the Steam super sampling up to 200% and then turn the in game graphics up as far as they could go, and the game can be breathtaking in some of the scenery. I'm happy that Quest users can get the chance now to play the game. Yeah, me too. And this was kind of our point last week. Like it doesn't have to graphically be what the other versions of the game are. It's going to have other strengths, right, in gameplay.
Right.
And again, a lot of these people don't have a PC or a PlayStation to play it on. So it's good that this AAA game is still being developed for VR gamers, even despite all of the negative criticism it got last time they put a version of it out.
My biggest takeaway from what you were just saying a little bit ago about this game is that how optimistic you are as far as you thought you were going to be able to play through 1 and 2 and you're going to play them in order. And with our way we play games and the way things move, we don't even get a chance to play the game we want to play, let alone play the first and the second. Because you didn't play through 1 and 2, did you? Or 3? You got
so Looper says it's less because you don't even it's less than 1/3 of the game. Not really. I mean, let's be honest. It's not like Hitman 1 through 3 is one game. That's 3 games that came out over decades, or the span of a decade.
He's talking about the free DLC as well, not only between 1 and 2, but just the DLC that is part of the game. It doesn't come with it. Is what he's saying.
So first of all, he's saying it's not the full game versus the other versions that are out there for PC and console. So first of all, it is a full game. It's the full Hitman 3. Okay, just because you can't go back and play 1 and 2 doesn't mean you're not getting a whole game. You're getting the whole Hitman 3 game. Secondly, why does it have to be a competition? Like, why can't the Quest players just get Hitman 3? Like, it's not like we're sitting here telling people, "Oh, you gotta go play it on the Quest instead of the PC, or you gotta go play it on Quest instead of PlayStation." That's not what we're saying. We're saying it's cool that they get Hitman 3.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be versus all the time, like a competition between the platforms and the versions of the game.
I,
We can, we can point out that it's getting uh, full use of hands without making it, a contest of, which is the preferred platform. There'll be plenty of time to debate that after we play the game.
I remember when it came out on PC, I was shocked that you could even play 1 and 2 in there. That was like such an added bonus.
Yeah, nobody knew that at first, right? Like
Yeah.
that was something they announced a little bit later, and we were like,
Yeah, it was just an extra
yeah.
bonus. So, I mean, it is cool that you could do that on the PC. I don't think Quest people are losing anything by not. I think it would have been cooler if they could, but I mean, it is what it is.
And honestly, I don't expect that after we play it that we're going to recommend that people go play it on Quest over PC. I think that I'll sit here and I'll be telling people, hey, it doesn't matter if the controls are a little bit gamepadified on PC. PC's the best way to play it.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's worthless on Quest, and that those people should be pining away because they don't have a PC and just disregarding what the work that's gone in here.
Right. Yeah. I'm just curious to see how much is because there has to be some, I would think, nerfed as far as people, instead of 100, there's 50 or whatever, but we'll see how much they have to scale that back, and maybe none because of the Quest 3. And that's why they made it exclusive, right? So.
Cornerstone City 777. I'm thinking of getting a gaming laptop to do some VR with PSVR 2 adapter. Just older games that don't need a powerhouse of a machine to run. One problem I have noticed is that the laptop does not have a display port, which is needed for a PSVR 2 adapter. Do you know if there's a way around this before I spend money on a laptop? I need to know if I can connect it up. Would be new to PCVR, so I'll be playing the older stuff that I missed last gen. So most gaming laptops, I want to say, have some form of display port on them. It's not a standard display port, but they'll either have a micro or a mini display port, or they'll have a USB-C that's capable of display port. I'm not going to sit here and come across like an authority. I know that some of these work. For example, with I think like Rift S, people were trying to, was it Rift S? One of the older headsets needed a display port. Maybe it was G2. And it would work with some of these laptops, and then others it wouldn't work. There were some you could buy like a converter that would work. So I would say take it to the Discord before you buy anything. I would suspect that anything that has one of the small display port jacks on it is going to work. Just as long as you get the right cable that goes from the small display port to the big display port on the other end, that's likely going to work. But don't take me at my word on that. That's speculation. Go to our Discord. There's an invitation in the description below, and I'm sure that you'll find someone in there that is using a laptop, and they'll be able to give you a bit more light into this particular topic. I'd be careful with what I buy. Obviously, you don't want to waste your money, but I'm sure there's a laptop out there for you that you can use to play this.
Looper says he's using PSVR 2 with a gaming laptop, no issues. He's got a display port, alt mode, USB-C to display port cable for that. So there you go. Yep.
So you just need to get a laptop that that has a USB-C that supports display port alt mode. You'll have to read a little bit more in the finer print. But like I said, most gaming laptops have some sort of a DisplayPort solution on it, unless it's like a super low end one. I'd be shocked if you didn't have some sort of solution that's usable on there.
Right.
Looper says, I do have to use the one particular USB port for the adapter. Right. Not all USB-C supports DisplayPort. It's a very specific USB-C jack that you need. And that's what I was telling you last week, Roots, about the Quest. Like, while it's possible that they could have used the right kind of port to support DisplayPort, I'd say to save 50 cents on each headset, they probably went with the more basic one that isn't capable. Oh, USB-A. I have to use one particular USB port for the adapter in order for the controllers to work properly. Oh, you're using a dongle for the Bluetooth then, I guess, is what you're saying. Or maybe not. Maybe he's just saying that you have to use a 3.1 or 3.2 Gen 1 for the USB cable for the controllers to work properly. Anyways, it is possible. And I'd say that most mid-tier to high-tier gaming laptops will support it, but not everyone. So do be careful, and again, talk to people in our Discord, that people like Looper that have more experience with the technical aspects of it. I've always wanted a gaming laptop, Roots, just for the mobility of it. Not just to be able to game on the go, but like it would be nice to have a powerful laptop to work on the road, you know,
Right.
to be able to do work, to be able to produce shows while I'm not home, things like that. Like, I work from home, and I work from home because this is where my computer's at. If I had a strong enough computer, I could throw in a backpack
You can work
and
anywhere.
I could just go work anywhere that has good internet,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you need to make that happen. You have the possibility to travel too much to not have it, right? So
Andrew Ehrenreich, to wrap up viewer comments for the week. Inscription, we talked about Inscription last week. Inscription is a horror-themed roguelike deck building card game with escape room puzzles sprinkled in. Once you get through Act 1, the story and gameplay change up a bit. Act 2 would be very difficult to bring to VR compared to Acts 1 and Act 3, but still would be great to play in VR. So Andrew put this forth last week as a game that he would like to see come to flat to VR. So like I always say, I took it to the team. I said, hey guys, this is one that got brought up in chat today. A couple of people backed up the nomination. They say this game would be awesome to make into VR game. And then some of the dev team from Flat to VR come up and started chatting about it. Much like our chat, there were some fans of this game that said, yes, this would be an awesome VR game, but how would we do Act 2? And they wouldn't talk specifically about what's different in Act 2. They didn't want to spoil the game for people that hadn't played it.
Really?
But
So they like
did
the
say
game that
same
much, they don't
thing.
want to spoil it.
Yeah, they said it's an excellent game. It really is one of a kind. But the ones that were familiar with the game were pretty perplexed by how they would get Act 2 in a VR headset. So I don't know what that means, but the fact that I keep hearing it tells me that's probably pretty legit. And I don't know if this will be one that we're actually able to do. But the idea has been planted. The seed is planted, and who knows what comes of it.
Cool.
And that wraps up viewer comments. Brings us to our next reminder, which is it's that time of the show, Roots. It's that time where we ask people to put in just a moment of their time and give a click or two to these awesome developers that keep us with awesome VR games. It's a big deal. And the smaller the studio, the bigger a deal is things. It really helps them gain visibility on the storefronts that they're trying to sell their game. That's why I went this week, Ruuts, and wishlisted Z.O.N.A Origin, which we just talked about. It just came out yesterday. Um, the fact that I'd never heard of this game, I only found out about this game because I was just looking for what came out this week and happened to stumble upon it. Most people were talking about Containment Initiative 2, which is also coming out on Steam VR this week. I don't know why people are talking about that. Containment Initiative 1, it comes from a studio that has done a number of PCVR titles, but they're always like borderline shovelware. Like they're not complete garbage, but they're just good enough to be mildly entertaining. So
Shows
the
you the
fact that they're doing it,
state of PCVR.
yeah. Well, they did a sequel to Containment Initiative. This one features asymmetric co-op on one machine. So like you can come to one computer, somebody can play flat on the screen while the other one's playing in VR. It's like it's a shooter game, first person shooter. So maybe it's fun, maybe it's not. I never played any of the Gen 1 games. These are the type of games that we often cite when we're looking through Viveport, for example. It's those type of like generic games that are okay quality. Anyway, most people are citing that as the game that's coming out on Steam this week, but I thought this Z.O.N.A game just looks so much better than Containment Initiative. So
I agree.
that's the one we talked about.
Looks cool. Definitely looks different. So
Grandpa Barbecuer, a laptop definitely would be a tax deduction. If I were to itemize, everything would be like VR headsets, everything would be tax deductible if I made enough money to itemize. I don't make a ton of money, dude. Probably not as much as you think. I make basically the same money that I made on the factory floor, and
yeah, you're
I
doing
wasn't.
what you love, and you have actual growth to build through, right? Like somewhere to move.
Yep.
So
Absolutely. Yeah, so everyone please wish list the game if you haven't already. Let us know what you wish listed in the comments down below, and we appreciate your help, as do the developers. That brings us to the final reminder. This week, every week, that is how you can support us, our channel, our community, and everything that we're doing over here. Of course, the easy thing that you can do is just click the things, subscribe, like the video, share it with a friend. You got new friends you're bringing into VR, let them know about our show. Like where's a better place to go once, twice a week and really keep up with what the best of VR gaming is all about? Like there are other channels that are covering a wider variety of games than we are. I'll give them that, but no one's covering the best experiences available the way that we are. We're doing we're marching to the beat of our own drum and telling you what's worth your time and what isn't. And we're doing it our way. So if you haven't already, subscribe, like, share it with a friend. That's the most important thing that you can do to help us. If you've already done that and you want to do more, your money does help us quite a bit, and you can support us on Patreon, $3 per month. You get our weekly show notes, you get exclusive gameplay, you get your name in the ticker at the end of the show, and you get to meet with us virtually to select the winners of the 2024 awards. All that and more for less than $1 per week. And you get to go to bed and sleep well, knowing that you did your part to help supply a game for a giveaway or buy a piece of hardware that Roots and I need, or help cover travel expenses when I'm going somewhere to demo a game. All of this stuff and more has been paid for over the years by our patrons and the people who donate on YouTube. So we appreciate all of you. Thank you all
Yep.
for your ongoing support. Now, maybe you don't have money. A lot of us are broke, right? We don't have money to donate to things like YouTube. Totally get that. That's why the Discord is free. You know, we like to say that patrons get special access, and they do to an extent. They get exclusive content. They get an equal vote on the game of the year. They get to meet with us in VR. That's all true, but they don't get more access than anyone else because we hang out in the Discord. That's where we're at. That's where we're lurking 24/7, 365 as people on the daily come in to talk about VR, games, hardware, what have you. Sometimes we talk about the world around us. Sometimes we talk about movies and television and music. It's all in there. We watch police
Aliens.
chase, of course, aliens, all
Yeah.
of that stuff.
Not yet.
We're just hanging out. We're just hanging out like we would in a physical space. And we invite you to hang out with us. There's a link, an invitation down below. Maybe you want to talk more strategy on Vendetta Forever.
Right.
Hit me up. Maybe you're looking at buying a gaming laptop and need some advice on which ones to buy and which ones to avoid. We're there for you. It's a family atmosphere, like Ruuts said earlier, and it's 100% free. So join, and we'll see you there. All right. With that said, friends, I think that's our show for the week. I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Ruuts, I'm Wes. We'll see you Saturday. Have a good week, everybody.
Easy.